Delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Colorectal cancer doesn't stop for COVID-19. Hello, I'm Dr. Cecilia Brewington. If you are age 45 or older, it's time to return to care and get tested. The government requires insurance companies to cover not only colonoscopy, but a range of tests, including virtual colonoscopy and other less invasive exams. Talk to your doctor about your options today. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org.
Did you know if you're an adult living with asthma or COPD, getting sick with pertussis may result in severe complications? Pertussis, or whooping cough, is a serious respiratory illness. Vaccination is the best way to help protect against pertussis. Speak to your healthcare provider to ensure you are up to date on your Tdap vaccination. Learn more at lung.org.
My son Finn was born with congenital heart disease. He ended up spending about the first 8 months of his life in the hospital. During that time, he endured 10 surgeries, including an open heart surgery. Starlight Children's Foundation has played an important role in my family's life. For 5 weeks when he was a baby, Finn lived in a Starlight Hero wagon. You could not understand the pure joy of having him go from a hospital bed into his favorite red wagon. Starlight doesn't just give items that hospitalized kids can use to keep themselves happy, but also memories, moments, and experiences which are so needed in times like these. They allow sick kids to just be kids for a little while. The support that Starlight provides to families like mine is an integral part to creating happiness at a time when there's very little to be found. Learn more about how Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of sick kids by visiting starlight.org today.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the alarm clocks, wanting to take the 8:15 into the city.
Good morning, everyone. Boy, this morning has come quickly. Late night last night after the basketball game. Not much sleep, but I am ready to go. Hopefully you are as well, those early risers. We welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings on this Tuesday, November 7th, 2023 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their overstock sale continues. Help them clean out their stock inventory with deals as much as 50% off, half off, for goodness sakes. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by East Memphis Ace Hardware. Already 63 degrees. Cloudy skies, but no threat of rain. Partly cloudy with a high of 83 today. Now, considerable cloudiness tonight with the possibility of some rain showers and a low of 64. And then for your Wednesday, sunshine and clouds mixed with a high of 66 degrees. Coming up on the program today, we're going to start off talking Memphis Tigers basketball. They opened up the 23-24 campaign with a 17-point win last night over Jackson State. There was plenty of college basketball all around the country on opening night. We will discuss that. We will be talking with Brooks Monaghan at 8:25. He is the coach of the University of Memphis women's soccer team. They win their third straight American Conference championship. They're getting ready for the NCAA tournament. They're the 8th-ranked team in the country, but somehow got a 6th seed. So we will discuss that with Brooks at 8:25. At 9:05, it's our weekly Rhodes Athletics segment. We switch from football to basketball. We'll be joined by the Rhodes men's basketball coach, Zoe Goodson. And then at 9:25, we're talking college football, specifically SEC football, with our buddy Blake Topmeyer, SEC columnist for USA Today Network. We'll have Humdinger's Trivia. That'll come your way at about 8:05 approximately, right after that top of the hour, 8 o'clock break. And we'll let you know what the topic will be for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. During open segments, you can hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines by calling in. Of course, you can text in anytime, 901-360-8255. We got some interesting managerial moves in Major League Baseball, a little Monday Night Football action from last night, and some news on the University of Memphis football team after the Ryan Silverfield presser yesterday. All coming up on what should be another busy edition of Sports 56 Mornings. How are you?
I am fantastic.
Isn't it nice to wake up, walk outside, and you really don't need a jacket?
I love it.
Early in the week, we had that cold front that rolled through, but right now it is nice outside, and it has been nice for the last few days. Last night was nice for Memphis Tigers basketball. A 94-77 win over Jackson State. No surprise. Did not cover the spread for those who are inclined to gamble a little bit. I think that number was about 22, if I'm not mistaken, 21.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. But Memphis, after a little sloppiness early in the game, and they had a bunch of turnovers in the contest. In fact, they turned it over 16 times, but they forced 23 turnovers. It wasn't great, but it was very good. You saw the plethora of different scoring options for Memphis. Of course, it was the coach Rick Stansbury in for Penny Hardaway. He'll be in for the first 3 games because of Penny's suspension. So Rick Stansbury coaching the team. Little bit of a surprise with a couple of the starters for game number 1. Doesn't mean that will always be the case, but now Memphis will get ready to take on another set of Tigers, Missouri, on Friday in Columbia. And there are some things they're going to have to tighten up. That'll be a challenge. Missouri opened up the season with a victory, as you would imagine, playing an Arkansas Pine Bluff team, which was overmatched, 101-79 in that one. So what did you see? What did you think of Memphis's opening game victory?
A couple of things. One, it's nice to see a team that can shoot the basketball, has guys who can knock down threes. In today's world of basketball, that is important. We saw it in the preseason games. We saw it again last night as they shoot nearly 40% from three-point range in the game, led by Jones and Walton. Jaquan Walton, if he had completed the dunk on the first possession, I believe that would have been, I checked with Elias Sports Bureau, that would have been the first murder ever on the first play of the college basketball season.
I'm trying to get the starting lineups out of my mouth, and this guy's trying to slam on me.
I mean, when he took off, I was like, oh, my God. Like, look at the first play of the year. Have some mercy on that poor child. That's somebody, you got parents, for goodness sake. And he came really close to getting it. Turnovers, certainly, if you're going to look at concerns, the turnovers, a little sloppy at times. Rebounding, that's not a team that you should get out-rebounded by. And they got out-rebounded by that. And those are things we saw in the exhibition games a little bit as well.
Yep.
And rebounding can be a little bit about effort, and I don't know how much, it could, in a game that you're going to win and all of that stuff, that can happen. I also hadn't really, I guess, thought about it or noticed it until last night, but the Tigers are loaded with J's. You got Jaquan, Javon, Jordan, Jaden, Jalen, Jonathan, JJ. Then if you go to last names, you got Jordan and Jones.
That's right.
I mean, it is like every team has a J in their name or starts with J. I was like, my goodness gracious! It was just kind of every time players kept getting announced, I'm like, gosh, how does every player on the team starts with J somehow?
Well, it's a good letter to have because you're hoping to hit J's and hit them at a high percentage. And Memphis for the game shot 50.7% from the field. 39.3% from 3, 11 of 28. They took a lot of threes. They're going to take a lot more than you're used to seeing from Penny Hardaway coached teams, but 39.3%, you'll take that any day of the week. And then 65.2% from the free throw line, so they missed 8 of their 23 attempts. You want that to tighten up. But you make a great point about the rebounding. Should never be out-rebounded by a team, by the way, that was missing really their best big, who was out for that game, but Mansell. But this is a team in Memphis that it's all about the motor. And that's why I think you saw the starting lineup, which was a surprise to many, include Malcolm Dandridge over Jordan Brown and not include Caleb Mills. But Caleb Mills comes into the game, leads the team in rebounds with 7. So he came in with the motor running. Jordan Brown ends up still putting up good numbers off the bench. He ends up going for 11 points, and he gets himself 5 rebounds, and he only plays 20 minutes. But it's all going to be effort. And Rick Stansbury told us before the game, it doesn't matter who starts. What's important is who finishes and how we finish. Obviously, they were able to get in some guys at the end of the bench at the end of the game. Jackson State, well coached by Mo Williams. Every player is either a returnee or a newcomer. They lost no players in the transfer portal, which is odd and rare. Only one of 5 schools in Division I that has happened to. So that's good for Mo Williams. They should be a threat to win the SWAC. But again, for Memphis, tighten it up. You got Missouri, one of your first big non-conference battles this Friday.
For Jackson State, by the way, I'm a big fan of Chase Adams.
Me too.
That little dude, he's a baller now. I loved watching him play.
He got into the lane and somehow was able to hit that little teardrop, that little floater. He goes 8 of 14. He was 0 of 3 from 3. So he was scoring his points in the paint, ends up with 16 points. And he's the littlest guy on the floor, basically, most of the time out there. And it was fun when Jalen Young came in the game for Memphis, and you had Young defending Adams. You talk about quick on quick.
Yeah. Tiger Steve texted, says, I need to know the number to call about these awful streams on ESPN3. If we're going to spend the money for the basketball game, it needs to be crystal clear. This also happened last year.
Yeah, look. That has.
Come on, Greg, take care of that.
Yeah, that's not up my alley, ladies and gentlemen. You are as frustrated as I was frustrated on the air. You're getting texts as I'm trying to do the broadcast. The crew doing the best job they can. I don't know why, and I don't know the technical lingo for it. The fiber optics or what's going on. They will get that straightened out for a week from Friday. They better when they play Alabama State, because I can understand the frustration. I really don't want to feel 30 calls or texts on that because I don't have any answers. But I can tell you, I was as frustrated as everybody else. You prepare, you get ready for a game. And, I thought we had a good broadcast as far as John and I. We had a lot of things to talk about on opening day with a brand new team. And then it's frustrating at times. So I can understand your frustration. It's just the way of the world. We're going to we are going to a lot of these options now on the internet. And sometimes, as you know, probably from your home or apartment, that the internet is not always 100%. It's not always something you can rely on. And that's a scary proposition. So again, I'll apologize, even though I have nothing to do with that. I can understand the frustration.
Raider Corey says, we were at the game last night. We were a little surprised at the attendance, with the exception of the student section for the home opener, but the opponent may have had something to do with it. My only challenge will be to learn the guys' names that begin with J. Yeah, see, somebody else noticed it as well. Nice win once they limited the turnovers from the first half.
I was a little surprised. I didn't realize what the crowd was like because I'm doing the game. I'm not looking around. I know that the student section, which was really good and has been good in football, was really good last night, and they were very loud, and that's a positive, especially for a commuter school. But I heard, somewhere around 6.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of people there. About 10 minutes before the game, there was like nobody in the stands, and then it filled in a little bit. But on a Monday night playing Jackson State, you're just not. There's not going to be a bunch of people that go downtown. Sorry, people that think that they're just going to draw 10, 12,000 people. It's just not going to happen.
And all of a sudden, when you're in the midst of football, you're thrust into here's opening night, and there's college basketball all around the country, and you may not be ready for that. And there's going to be some pretty good name opponents coming to town later on in the season, like Virginia, like Clemson. They have a lot of big-time opponents on the road. I understand that. But as far as home games, first game, Jackson State, Monday night, you're absolutely right. I'm not shocked that it was a smaller crowd. Maybe a little bit surprised that it was not more like 8,000. But it is what it is. They went out there. They took care of business. 14 players played for Memphis. 10 players scored. 10 players. There are so many different options for this coaching staff. And when you look at the numbers, Jaquan Walton played 28 minutes. He played the most. He ended up with 19. He had 15 right off the bat. I mean, you blinked. Before people sat down in their seats, he had 15 points. But he played 28. And then you look at some of the others. David Jones, 25. Caleb Mills, 22. Javon Quinterly, 24. Jordan Brown, 20. So these guys are not going to be gassed. They're not playing 35 minutes. Now, we'll see what happens when they're playing better competition starting this Friday if the rotation is tightened by Rick Stansbury via Penny Hardaway, what they want to do. But last night you saw 10, 11 guys in the rotation, and then the remaining 3 came in mop-up time at the end.
David texted in, says, I've been very unimpressed with Jordan Brown watching him last night in the Lemoyne Owen game. He just doesn't look like he's very good at basketball. He's just big.
No, I disagree with that, but here's the problem. He has to have that motor going, and he doesn't always have that motor going. He is a traditional back-to-the-basket postman. You don't see them much anymore in basketball. So he has to get a spark. So in that sense, I can understand what you're saying, but again, kind of a nonchalant 11-5. But you look at his numbers last year, albeit at Louisiana, but he averaged 19 points basically and just under 9 rebounds. He was named the Lou Henson Award winner, given to the best player at a mid-major in the entire country. So I don't think he's just big. He has skills. He's got hands. He can finish around the rim. It wasn't a great game, and he came off the bench. Maybe he'll be more motivated the next game. Who knows if he'll start? But they went with Malco, of course, the fifth-year center who decided late in the summer to join the team. Malco had 10 points, 3 rebounds, but Malco actually was a -2 in his 17 minutes, if you're looking at plus-minus for what that's worth. Jordan Brown was a +22. He had the best plus-minus rating on the team for Memphis. So he certainly did a lot of things that are not in the stat sheets, like altering shots.
Yeah, there's certainly, you could tell there's some skill there. I did, this is the first time, because I didn't go to either one of the exhibition games, so this was really the first time to see him. Yeah, I thought last night he kind of ho-hummed it.
Yeah.
For the most part. But just wasn't a real tenacious effort.
Wasn't engaged that much because they really didn't have a counterpart, a big. They brought in the big guy. I mean, the guy that looked like a football player, Johnson. But there will be games where he will have to go up and battle. A lot of games against bigs.
I mean, that in that game last night, like when he was on the court, like he should get just about every rebound.
Yes.
Like he should be able to get just pretty much every rebound that comes off the rim when he was out there just by pure size, if he really wanted it to. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The Missouri game, another texter says he seems out of shape. Looks like he's moving in slow motion. Missouri plays really fast. That will Missouri will test early in the season. Missouri will be a test for how in shape you are and things like that, because they will get up and down the court. That's one of the things they want to do. Beyond that, they're also good, and it is a tough place to play. Friday night, we'll find out a lot as far as early season goes about this team on Friday.
The Antlers, they're tough. That student body, they are tough on opponents. I did a game in Columbia years ago, and I know what they're like. As far as the real positives, again, Caleb Mills came off the bench, played 22 minutes. He didn't have his shot, and I know he was talking with Dave Woloshin on the radio postgame, and he wasn't happy with his performance. But he still went out there and was a +19. He got 10 points. He got 7 rebounds, and he's a guard, so that's all about effort. He got a couple of assists. He got a couple of steals. He did not turn the ball over. Now, Jaquan Walton had the big points night with 19, but he did turn it over 5 times. Javon Quinterly, a lot of good. He had 4 assists, but he did turn it over 3 times. He added 3 steals. The one guy I thought who was very tight to begin the game, the much anticipated opening game for David Jones. I thought David was a little bit nervous. He ended up with 5 turnovers, but then you saw him start to get into the groove, and he can hit that long ball. He was 4 of 7 from 3. He ended up with 15 points. He had a couple of assists. He had a steal. Jones is a high motor guy. You don't have to worry about his motor, and he has the ability to knock down that three-point shot. So a little bit of a struggle early for him. He came back strong. You know what you're getting with Nick Jourdain. He's going to be the lunch pail guy. He's going to do the dirty work, ends up with 8 points, a couple of assists, get your 4 rebounds in just a tick under 13 minutes. Look, what you have with this team is a lot of options and a lot of depth.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, and again, there's a lot of things. There's length, there's athleticism, there's shooting. There's, just they've got all the pieces. On paper, you look at it, you've got experience, you've got ball handlers, you've got bigs, you've got guys who can shoot. You've got all the pieces there. It's putting it together, and again, we'll find out here early on Friday night against Missouri. Well, that's a really good early season test, and see what they're able to do going in there. They'll need to be better than they were last night, in all likelihood, to be able to beat Missouri. But they took care of business last night, and despite the shaky start where Jackson State made a lot of shots and had the early lead, they then took control of the game and cruised from that point on. So it was a fine first showing of the season.
Yeah. By the way, I'm looking at the box score. I didn't see this before, but they announced 10,912.
Well, they're announcing season 2.
No, I understand that because I was told it was probably around 6. But again, that was just somebody telling me, so that was the number I had in my head. I didn't know what they had announced because I didn't hear it, and I don't even know if they did announce it, but I'm looking at the box score right now, and the number they have down is 10,912. Yeah, so again, it's one of those things where, there's no need to be critical. It's certainly not a fine-tuned machine in game number 1. Most teams are not around the country, if not all of them. And as you said, Eli, you'll get the challenge on Friday. You turn around, you go from a solid SWAC team to an SEC team, and then turn around, you got a week off, and you'll play another SWAC team, and Tony Madlock and Alabama State, who were in Oxford last night. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then you go to the Bahamas, the Paradise Jam, and that schedule starts to get really tough, that non-conference schedule. But that's what you want. Penny wants to play the toughest teams, and you need to. We talked about it ad nauseum yesterday. You have to, because you're not going to be able to pick up quality wins in the conference. Only Florida Atlantic. So any loss is a bad loss, which will be very hurtful when it comes to NCAA tournament seeding. All right, I mentioned last night, Ole Miss, the Chris Beard era began, and the Ole Miss Rebels get a win 69-59 over the aforementioned Tony Madlock and Alabama State.
Yeah, it was a rough night shooting the ball for Ole Miss. They go 7 of 29 from 3-point range, and even worse, 12 of 25 from the free throw line, which is just crazy to shoot under 50% from the free throw line. Matthew Morrell, 1 of 8 from 3 last night.
Wow.
Although he did have 16 points to lead the way. Alan Flanagan, the veteran who was really good at Auburn, he had a double-double. They don't have Musa Cisse, still waiting on the waiver for him, and also waiting on a waiver on Brandon Murray, who was the big-time transfer from Georgetown. So they're still trying to get waivers for those two guys. They struggled. They were only up by 5 at the half, I believe it was. And then pulled away a little bit in the second half, but because they couldn't make free throws and couldn't knock down a 3, they never could really just kind of put it away. So it's a win, but it was not a pretty one for shooting the basketball, that's for sure.
Tennessee rolled over Tennessee Tech 80-42. You had Arkansas all over Alcorn State 98-59. Not every team played. It just seemed like every team played in the nation. And one team who probably wishes they did not play, Michigan State, number 4 in the country in the preseason poll at the Breslin Center in East Lansing. They go out and they lose to James Madison University. What are the Dukes doing, man? JMU, football, basketball, whatever the sport is, they're taking over the world of sports.
Yeah, the good year continues for James Madison. The bad news just keeps on coming for Michigan State. But 1 of 20 from three-point range. The number 4 team in the country went 1 of 20.
5%.
From three-point range in that game last night. There were only 2 other top 25 teams that didn't win by at least 20 points. And they lost as the 4 team. The only other 2 that didn't win by 20 were North Carolina, who only won by 16 over Radford, and USC, who only won by 13, but played Kansas State. They actually played another Power 5 team. So every other top 25 team won by like 20, 30, 40. Michigan State lost.
Amazing. One game does not make a season, but that's a horrible way to start your season, right, with a loss to James Madison. No offense to James Madison, but you're Michigan State. You should be rolling in these games early.
For those Tennessee fans that got really excited about the exhibition win over Michigan State, it may not be as good as you thought.
That's true. By the way, with USC, the word is that Bronny James will be reevaluated at the end of the month, I think they said, and then they will make the judgment on whether or not he'll be able to start to practice with the team and eventually play. But even without him, when you have Isaiah Collier, maybe the best player in the country, arguably the best player in the country, they still have the former Tiger, Boogie Ellis. That's a good-looking team. Also last night, women's basketball. Unfortunately, the Alex Simmons era begins with a loss. The Memphis women lose at Middle Tennessee State 67-47. They'll look to bounce back on Thursday when they play their home opener at El Marone Fieldhouse. How about the defending national champions, the number 1 team in the nation, Angel Reese and LSU, Kim Mulkey and LSU? They lose, but they do lose to a ranked team. Number 20, Colorado gets them 92-78.
Yeah, that's I'm going to guess that LSU practice won't be a whole lot of fun today with Kim Mulkey. She was not happy.
Was it like a 6-month hangover?
She was not happy with the effort in the game. That's like a super team, and to go out and lose in their first game, that's pretty shocking.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. All right, when we come back, if you want to talk about Tigers basketball, you checked it out last night, or any college basketball, we'll get into that. We will also talk about NFL, Monday Night Football last night, some Major League Baseball managerial moves as well. We had Humdinger's Trivia coming your way at 8:05. We're going to talk with Brooks Monaghan, the University of Memphis women's soccer coach. That'll be at 8:25. Zoe Goodson, the Rhodes men's basketball coach, at 9:05. We'll talk college football with Blake Topmeyer at 9:25. A busy Tuesday just underway. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Simple call. Dial up Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084, and he'll take care of you. 901-438-5084. Pinnacle has been with us for years. Brandon and his company can take care of you. They offer financing, many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month, same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that new roof or that roof repaired. They are part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, property managers, along with homeowners. If you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. And when I say all their work, I mean restoration work, like carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters. They can install shingles, put up fencing and siding, rotwood repair. Whatever you can't do yourself, you call the experts. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Again, satisfaction guaranteed with all their work, quality work at a very, very good price. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, locally owned and operated. Call Brandon today at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamond. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
This holiday, the Home Depot is helping you get gifts that keep on giving by making sure they keep on going. Right now, when you buy a select battery kit from Ryobi, Milwaukee, Rigid, DeWalt, or Makita, you get an eligible tool for free. Just pick a brand, pick a battery kit, and get a tool free. Give the gift of more doing this holiday with the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid at participating stores and online. 1 per transaction. Discount taken at checkout. Full eligible tool list in store and online. Valid October 23rd, 2023 through January 28th, 2024.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed 1 person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. The police are out with a couple of accidents. One on Germantown Parkway going southbound near Walnut Bend. That's got traffic really slow going actually in both directions. Yale Road at Austin P Highway trying to mop up that accident. Raleigh LaGrange at Coleman Road. 2 cars slammed together at that intersection. Traffic's building coming up from the south on 55 going northbound up through South Haven. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. Go by and see them today at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:31 the time. Hour number 1 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Been talking some Tigers basketball. Memphis with an opening game win over Jackson State 94-77, and now gets set for Missouri on Friday.
David says, yeah, it's just the first game, but I was most impressed with Jalen Young. Turned the game when he finally got in around the 7-minute mark, brought the energy defensively, ran the offense better than Quinterly and Mills did in the first half.
Jalen Young was a spark, and he is so fast and his hands so quick. He gets a lot of deflections. He gets a lot of steals. It's a quality pickup for a guy who's going to be more than likely most of the time coming off the pine.
Yeah, 3 steals in 11 minutes. Pretty good ratio.
Yep, and Rick Stansbury talked about him being one of the guys that kind of changed it in the direction of Memphis. Not that the Memphis Tigers were ever really in a bad situation. Obviously, it was back and forth for a while there, but he said that he kind of gave them that spark that they needed to extend that lead. All right, so if you want to talk Tigers basketball, hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines, 901-360-8255. We're going to switch gears, talk a little Tigers football. If you missed this announcement yesterday, they announced that the Memphis SMU game, which will be a week from this Saturday here in Memphis, is set for 11 a.m. on ESPN2 on the Deuce. So Saturday, November 18th, and it is going to be a titanic game in the American Conference with the assumption, and I don't want to assume anything, that Memphis and SMU take care of business this weekend. As far as the injury situation is concerned, Ryan Silverfield yesterday, all he said was that both Seth Hennigan and Blake Watson, two of their most important players, are both day-to-day. Now, at the presser, when it wrapped up, as I'm walking out, Seth Hennigan comes in. He's getting a massage. They got those tables laid out there in the indoor practice facility. Again, it's hard to gauge anything from what it looked like, but just the way Ryan Silverfield was talking, if I'm reading the tea leaves, even though it's day-to-day, I can see where Hennigan plays. Again, it's the and he didn't talk specifically about the injury, but again, and this, once again, is an assumption on my part, but I think it's the shoulder, and it's the non-throwing arm. So it's the left shoulder. I think it's kind of probably going to be a pain tolerance thing. If he can't go, Tevin Carter's waiting in the wings. He talked about Tevin Carter, how much confidence they have in him. It's interesting because Charlotte is not a great football team by any stretch of the imagination. They have won 2 of their last 3, though. Did win an overtime game last week at Tulsa. So those 2 wins were both on the road in conference play. They're getting better. Ryan talked about the NIL money that Charlotte has. Poggi obviously is an interesting character to say the least. I've reached out to Charlotte to try to get Poggi on the show. They have not responded. He's, I guess he's a multimedia star in Charlotte. I don't know. I don't know why I don't get any response. But Poggi, he'll have the team ready. So I'll be curious to see what happens. But again, this is purely speculation on my part, that just to see Seth walking around and in view of the media members and the way Ryan was saying things, I just think he might be able to go. I don't know about Watson. I don't know what happens there if he can't go. Obviously, a lot more Sutton Smith, a lot more Brandon Thomas. But it's a good thing this isn't the week before the SMU game. That game, to have the importance that it should have, Memphis has to take care of business. There cannot be a slip-up.
In the wonderful world of college football, just wait and see if they're on the field. Because God knows anybody going to tell you beforehand.
Well, just ask Ryan about Trent Dilfer and UAB. When Zeno was out there warming up, and they expected Zeno to be the quarterback, and they ended up using 3 other quarterbacks. I asked Ryan, I said, who's the backup to Tevin Carter if Silverfield can't go? If Hennigan can't go. And he said, to be determined, because they haven't had that be in that position where that third guy has gotten any kind of reps. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. It is going to be an extremely important week all around the nation in college football. Some huge games. Michigan plays at Penn State. And, of course, the latest story, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm kind of paraphrasing, I just read the headlines, that Michigan may have the support of somebody who says that they have been on the spy stealing or sign stealing side of things, stealing Michigan's plays for other teams. Is that what's going on right now? Is that the ammunition that they have to counter
I did not see
they're
that.
being in hot water? Yeah, there's something like that that's out there that they said they have proof that they stole Michigan signs. And as I've heard
Seems like a very poor defense, but...
Right. And maybe you're grasping at straws. But I listened to Brady Quinn driving in on Fox Radio here on Sports 56 talking about how it goes on everywhere. He says, not every single team, but most teams. And he also said during the game, of course, that is something that is acceptable. You steal signs. You look across, you steal signs.
Game. That's why you got all these different shields being put up and everything else around coaches, and they use all these signs and actually cardboard signs, everything else, because all coaches understand during the game it's your free game. Your signals are free game.
Right. But obviously Michigan taking it to another level. But the point of that story of that person coming out is that they say Michigan also has had their signs stolen as well. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't know. I still think, and I believe you said this yesterday, and I agree, that Michigan should be penalized. The problem is that you're probably not going to get anything this season. Michigan, if they take care of business, beat Penn State, are able to knock off Ohio State, win the Big Ten championship, they're in the playoffs. And if anything happens as far as a penalty, it'll happen after because they will fight it. So that's the situation we have with Michigan. But Michigan, Penn State, one of the big games this weekend in college football. Obviously, Ole Miss taking on Georgia. Can they derail? Can somebody derail the Georgia Bulldogs? Alabama coming off the great win over LSU. Can't afford to slip up. They're still on the outside looking in. They will play at Kentucky. On and on and on. From the NFL last night, the Chargers beat the Jets 27-6, as both teams are now 4-4. The Chargers have, let's be honest, been a disappointment for the most part this year. But last night, they looked good against a very good Jets defense.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Well, they won 27-6.
They didn't look good. Believe me.
All right. When I watched, I saw Eckler run for a touchdown. I saw Herbert make a good throw. I didn't watch a lot. I was doing the game, Memphis game.
Herbert was not good. They had less than 200 yards of offense.
All right, but somehow they scored 27 points, still won 27-6.
Punt return touchdown, defense return, the fumble that set up another one.
So more of the defense and the special teams. But
yeah, the defense was great. They killed Zach Wilson with 8 sacks. Like the Jets couldn't do anything. But no, offensively, the game overall was just pathetic offensively.
Well, it's frustrating for Jets fans because you know the Jets have this potent defense and they can't consistently do much with Zach Wilson and that offense. It's not all on him, but a lot of it is. And then after the game, Aaron Rodgers on the field, I forget which Charger he was talking to. He was number 3. Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure who he was talking to.
But they asked him, when is he coming back? And he said a few weeks. I just can't imagine that Aaron Rodgers, at his age, will be able to come back from a torn Achilles that quickly.
Yeah, if he can, it's darn near a miracle. I don't, for anybody to come back that quickly and try and play football. Now, part of that also is the Jets need to somewhat remain relevant for him to even, I would think, attempt it. I don't and I don't know that can happen. I'm not sure what their upcoming schedule is.
I'll look that up right now.
But their offensive line is an absolute disaster. I've
been saying that since day one.
Zach Wilson, he is what he is. He's not great, but my gosh, last night the poor dude is he's under pressure on every single pass he tries to throw. So it's hard to really blame him. Now, there are some throws that he just misses guys on that are pretty open, but there's also the amount of pressure he's under. That's going to be difficult for any quarterback, and would make me, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, even more leery of trying to come back from an injury when there's a pretty good chance I'm going to be getting killed.
Jets will play at Las Vegas this weekend. Then they have Buffalo in Buffalo. They host Miami. Then they host Atlanta, Houston, and then go to Miami. Again, on the surface, that looks like 3-3. And if it's 3-3, and it may not even be 3-3, the way Houston's playing, but if it's 3-3, that's 7-7. So that would be how many weeks now? I said 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 weeks from now. Aaron Rodgers is telling the guy, a few weeks. 6 weeks from now, I'm looking ahead of the schedule and I'm going, I could see 7-7. And then they got to play Washington, Cleveland, and New England. I mean, that looks like a couple of wins right there. So if you're flirting with 9-10 wins, you're flirting with a wild card spot. So we could very well see.
Good luck to Aaron Rodgers. And Cleveland's defense.
Maybe that's the game you go, I don't feel that well today. Let's throw Zach Wilson out as a sacrificial lamb.
And, I mean, the Chargers defense is generally terrible, and they killed Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So...
a non-mobile Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury.
If they can't find somebody to block anybody, and I will give the Chargers up front with Bosa and Mack. They can get after quarterbacks, but you need to find somebody on that offensive line who might actually decide to block someone.
All right, when we come back, we got some baseball news. The winter meetings taking place and managerial moves out the yin-yang yesterday. Something was in the water. And then we'll talk about the NBA from yesterday. The Grizzlies back in action tomorrow when they host the Miami Heat.
This side of the program is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. You can find them at the corner of White Station and Quince. When you go by there, you'll find everything you need for any of those DIY projects around the home, around the yard. You'll find the big green egg, all the different eggs, all the different egg accessories, and you're going to find a great staff as well to help you find and answer any questions that you have about whatever it is you need to get done. East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
All right, Eli, it's Tuesday. That means tomorrow is 5 favorite things. So we need a topic for our 5 favorite things this week. What is the topic?
We're going to do your 5 favorite movies with a character's name in the title.
5 favorite movies with a character's name in the title.
There's a million of them, I'll just tell you that, to choose from.
Okay. Movies with a character's name in the title. That'll be for 5 favorite things. Think about that. Compile your lists later today or tomorrow morning and get them to us, and we'll talk about it on the program tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I was just watching ESPN during the break. You know, Jim Harbaugh, the likely scenario, a suspension. The guy was suspended to start the year and maybe suspended to end the year when it's all said and done.
I still don't understand. I don't think Harbaugh should be punished. I think the program should be punished.
And give me your rationale for that. I'm not saying you're wrong. Give me your rationale.
Well, if the whole thing, I mean, the guy could have been doing it on his own. I don't know that, I assume Harbaugh knew about it, but maybe whatever. The bottom line is the guy worked for the football program. You were cheating. You were giving yourself an advantage in games by cheating. Punish the program. Why Jim Harbaugh getting a suspension, but they get to still play and possibly win a national championship? I don't understand that.
So let me ask you this. So you believe that the players should be penalized. Do you think that the guy Stallions, okay, first of all, let's try to go through the scenario. So Stallions, you believe, was told by Harbaugh or somebody up there to do this, right?
I don't know that he was told by anybody. He might have done it on his own, but
he might have been rogue.
When he knew all of the hand signals and everything else, and they, I'm sure, talked about it in practice and in meetings, people had to know what he was doing. But hey, how did you get all this information?
Okay, but let me ask you this. Whether or not he was rogue or whether or not they told him to do so, he gets these signals, the other team's signals. He relays them to the coaching staff. They have their meetings. They formalize a game plan. When they go over the game plan to the players and then they begin to practice that week to prepare for that team, do you think they're sitting there going, hey, listen, we stole all those signs from Ohio State, so here's what we're going to do? No, they tell them, here's our strategy, here's our game plan for this week. I don't think the players should be punished.
When during the game, he's able to watch the hand signal, know what the play is, they're relaying that to the players on the field.
He's not relaying. All he's doing is relaying, here's the play. He's not saying, here's the play because I could see this signal and he's putting up this and I saw this at practice.
Unless the players and everybody think he's just a mastermind, man, he went like 99 out of 100 telling us what the play was.
They're destroying crappy teams. So why would you think anything different? Why would you think that this is all because they stole signs? If I'm a player, I don't know if I'm privy to that information. I don't think I know that this has happened. You think the player? You think they have a meeting? They go, listen.
Again, unless you just think this guy is an unbelievable genius at predicting plays.
No, the last thing you want to do is have more people know what the hell you were doing. It's scandalous. You know, you don't want all these players loose lips sink ships. You don't know which player is going to maybe say something to somebody. These players, I would be shocked if these players, they sat in a meeting and go, listen, we stole the signs.
I don't think they say that, but during the game, when you know every play, if it's pass or run, every single time, you go, boy, this is amazing that we know this.
Players they just go out and play. They go out and play. And again, during the game, right, we talked about it, that it happens all the time. So they don't know if it's happening just because this guy is really good at what he does during the game. I guarantee you they're not thinking, hey, I wonder if this guy went to games earlier in the season and stole the signs. I don't think the players should be penalized at all. I do not believe they should be punished. But I don't know how you can do something that really hits them hard when just penalizing Jim Harbaugh and suspending him again meant nothing at the beginning of the year, probably won't mean nothing at the end of the year because they have coaches that could just take over and run what Jim Harbaugh wants them to run. How do you really, really punish a program if you really believe that what they are doing is egregious?
It's quite simple to me. Just ban them from the postseason.
But again, you're penalizing the entire program,
exactly.
All those players.
For employing a guy who blatantly cheated. That's what I think needs to be done. Punish the program, not the head coach, the program.
It never happens.
We haven't had cases where a team we know was blatantly cheating.
Well, I take that back.
I mean, they're blatantly cheating.
We've had, of course, in basketball, seasons that have basically been taken away. They've taken away those wins from the record book. They've taken away, and that all affects.
Which is the dumbest thing ever.
It's dumb, but it affects the players. Didn't I play that season?
This is an opportunity to punish the program up front. You don't have to vacate it because you could stop it before it even happens.
Well, I am for that, being proactive and doing things of that nature, but it's never going to happen. They'll fight this. They talked about, possibly having hearings and things of that nature. They will play, assuming that they win, they're going to be in the playoffs. And a penalty will probably come after. Now, they may suspend Harbaugh beforehand. They may suspend Harbaugh. Okay, he can't coach in the Ohio State game. Which, again,
I understand.
is somewhat big, but
from the Big Ten's perspective, I don't know what the Big Ten can do. They can't ban them from the postseason. They can't ban them from the from the college football playoff.
You're talking the Big Ten or the NCAA?
The Big Ten.
Right.
So I don't know what their possibility. If they want to suspend Jim Harbaugh, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Do whatever is within your power. The NCAA, to me, is the one that should ban them from the postseason.
Yes, and we know how much of a spine they have. CD is dialed in. CD, how are you?
Hey, guys, let me ask you a question. If I watch all the Tulane games, SMU games, and I notice the running back does something before a play in which he gets the ball every time, and I call the University of Memphis and say, hey, look at this film and notice what this running back is doing on every running play, and it turns out to be a running play. Am I spying for the University of Memphis?
No.
Or am I just getting them a tip?
No, you're just that.
You saw a tendency, and you're trying to help out any way you can.
You're not doing anything illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not spying then.
No. If there are things like there are certain teams that find offensive linemen will set up certain ways for pass plays versus run plays, and that's on that guy and that's on that team to recognize it, realize you can't do this. You're tipping our plays. Buying tickets to go to a game or send somebody to a game who then is going to videotape the opposite coach's hand signals. That is cheating.
Right, here's the difference. These are signals we're talking about here. You're talking about you just happen to watch this running back and he has a tendency to do this. Anybody can observe that.
On any running play.
Yeah, but it's just it's a tendency that you saw, and you're sharing that information as an alum or as a friend of somebody. That's fine. I mean, that probably happens all the time. I don't know how much they're going to take your word for it, but they'll go and possibly look at that. But we're talking about stealing the actual signs that are delivered to their players on the field. And that's why we have a lot of controversy as to why there are not microphones in the helmets and plays can just be could be talked to or can be relayed through the microphone to the helmet so the players pick it up without having hand signals.
So the difference is that he actually brought tickets, and that's the problem.
He's stealing signs. You're not stealing signs.
He's literally there he has people there with phones videotaping the other coaches' signs so that they can go then back, break down the video because they have every sign, every play from that game, and they can go back and break this down and figure it out. And you're not allowed to do that. You are not allowed to advance scout in person or videotape the opposing coaches.
Right, and then you're seeing a tendency of a running back. You're not stealing a sign from the coach that says this sign right now is going to be a jet sweep by this running back. You're just seeing that the running back happens to do this. It's a tell. It's almost what you're saying is you see a tell from this player, and it's a tendency that you're going to tell a coach about.
You're seeing something that is available to anybody in the world to see.
Absolutely.
He's not. He's seeing stuff. I mean, these teams go through great lengths to try and block the view of the people giving signs. He's buying tickets on the opposite side so that he knows he's going to be able to get those signs. Like for the Penn State-Ohio State game, now he didn't use them because it came out, but they literally had tickets on both sides of the stadium so they could tape both coaches' signals.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for breaking it down to me. So it's kind of like the same thing if a TV analyst is saying the defense is doing this on every play, and a fan call in, that's the same thing as saying, hey, there's a tendency going on.
Yep. Thank you, CD.
If it's something that's available to everybody, there's not TV cameras fixed on the coaches giving signs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not, they don't show that. They'll show you once in a while when they're showing the sideline, you might see some signs, but like this is a guy who is blatantly going out there to get their coaches' signs on video so that they can have them.
Folks, Meadowbrook Country Club has been a private country club since it was established in 1959, but that's no longer the case. It is now semi-private, meaning you can go out there and play this golf course anytime you want. They are open Tuesday through Sunday, and you can pay just a daily fee of $59 plus tax, and that includes cart to play this challenging layout. Bermuda greens, beautiful course. Again, old-style course that they have renovated over the years and continue to add to this beautiful 18-hole layout. You can call for a tee time today. Call, ask for Mark Bartlett. He's the pro out there. And get your tee time at 870-394-4186. That's 870-394-4186, located at 1250 West Broadway in West Memphis, Arkansas. It's about 15 minutes, no more, from Midtown or downtown, and an easy trip from anywhere in the tri-state area. If you want to join the country club membership fees are $350 per month. That includes golf and tennis, pickleball, swimming at their beautiful pool, and their restaurant and bar as well. Country club membership is available, but it's now semi-private, meaning you can play it as a daily fee course. Go out and see Mark Bartlett if you can. He'll fix you up for new Shrixon clubs. He can give you lessons. He was on the PGA Tour. But if you just want to set up a tee time, call him at 870-394-4186 for Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, Arkansas. When we come back, we got Humdinger's Trivia. We'll get to more of your calls and texts. We're going to talk a little Major League Baseball with some managerial moves that were made. NBA as well. And then at 8:25, we'll talk with the University of Memphis women's soccer coach, Brooks Monaghan. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamond. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Check. You might already know about the Acura MDX. V6 engine, seat 7. We have an announcement. We swapped that engine with a specially made 3-liter turbo V6, race-tuned the steering and suspension, and for the first time, added Type S performance to an SUV. So we're just gonna drop this right here. The Acura MDX and first ever MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Visit Acura of Memphis to learn more about the Acura MDX and the MDX Type S.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choate's has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choate's also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choate's Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your Early Bird Special today. And turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good morning. The police have been pretty active out here working a couple of wrecks, including this one at Getwell. It's going to be just south of 240. Germantown Parkway southbound at Walnut Bend. That one is over to the side. Also filling out paperwork on an earlier collision at Yale Road at Austin Peay Highway. Starting to build pretty good now on Bill Morris Parkway, especially westbound here getting onto 240. Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open and better than ever. Go by and see them today at Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Their overstock sale continues. It's the Tuesday, November 7th, 2023 edition of the program. We got Brooks Monaghan joining us a little bit later on in the hour. Currently 66 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We're looking at a high today of 83. Tonight, considerable cloudiness, occasional rain showers with a low of 64. And then tomorrow, sunshine and clouds mixed with a high of 66. Second hour of the program brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. I'll tell you more about them a little bit later on in the hour, but it is Tuesday, time for Humdinger's Trivia.
That's right. Of course, if it's Tuesday, that means it's Taco Tuesday over at Humdinger's with their chicken and fish tacos, just $2 each. That's each and every Tuesday, all day long, over at Humdinger's at Poplar and Massey. Other than the tacos, of course, all kinds of other great items on the menu, like the Humdinger shrimp or maybe any of those grilled fish options. They've got many for you to choose from. Great toppings, great sides. They've got the crispy fish and chips. They do a special on that every single Friday. You've got, of course, chicken dishes. You've got sandwiches. You've got salads. You've got all kinds of stuff. HumdingersRestaurant.com. You can check out the entire menu there. If you need an event catered, they're a great option for that as well. Healthy food, delicious food, inexpensive food as well over at Humdinger's at Poplar and Massey. And if you're the first to answer our trivia question correctly, well, then you'll get a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. If you won in the last 30 days, you are not eligible. You can answer via text at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. That is the number. Text in those answers, and the first correct answer gets the $25 gift certificate. And here is today's question. On Sunday, C.J. Stroud of the Texans had a hell of a day, and he became just the second rookie quarterback ever to throw for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game. Who was the first to do it? Who was the first rookie quarterback in the NFL to have a game with 400 or more yards and 5 touchdowns? C.J. Stroud was the second to do it. Who was the first? 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Text in those answers, and the first correct answer will get that $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's.
We were talking about the Michigan situation at the end of the first hour. Anthony wanted to chime in, 360-8255, Sports 56 listener lines. You can call in or text in. So let's go to Anthony. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, just calling in, heard you guys. I used to listen several years ago, but kind of got distracted and just got back the last week or so. But, I mean, I used to call in all the time about this NFL team that I thought was doing the same thing. All you got to do is videotape every coach on that sideline. You could do it for a quarter. I played at Ole Miss, played with the Chargers. You videotape them coaches, all of them, because you can figure out over a period of time who's throwing the right call, offensively and defensively. Mm-hmm. So if you could do it I could just imagine what you could do if you have what Michigan was doing. There were NFL teams. You could videotape a quarter, take them videographers back up there, analyze that video, determine what coach is making the right call, and you call the perfect defense or the perfect offense to overcome what that other team is doing. People been doing it.
Right, but Anthony, isn't a big difference though between what we're talking about here is sign stealing actually during the game, which seems to be something that has always, like you said, has always happened in the game of football, and then what Michigan did to go to those measures as somebody was either sent or went on his own to buy tickets at games against opponents that would be on Michigan's schedule to steal signs, to have tickets on both sides, to be able to be in position to steal those signs. That's going to an extreme.
It's an extreme, but it's the same outcome. If I videotape a quarter of what your coordinators and your defensive coaches or offensive coaches are doing on the sideline, take some guys out at the end of the first quarter, analyze what you're doing, because most coaches don't script their plays at least the first half or first quarter of the game. Mm-hmm. You already know what they're going to do because they change the calls week to week. They don't change them at the drop of a hat because you're not going to get guys to be able to remember plays like that. So if you videotape a quarter of a person's play, take it up, analyze that video. I saw the Cowboys in another team's game about 8 years ago. After halftime, that team came back, dominated the Cowboys. And I'm not a Cowboys fan, but dominated. And you can't tell me that a coach can alter his game plan just that much other than he's doing something illegal, using video cameras to see exactly which coach is making the right calls. And it don't take long because you got guys out there with the signs. You got guys throwing different signals. But that consistent signal is going to be the call that's going to be changing what's happening on the field.
Gotcha, Anthony. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, and thanks for listening. Thanks for getting back into the groove, listening to the program. Here's the thing, though, about changing the signs. Yes, it's going to happen a lot. Teams are going to turn around for that next week, and they're going to change. But I don't know how much you can change. That's throwing a lot at young men to be able to change a complete signal system for your team. That's a lot. Each week, like changing it because you are afraid that somebody has stolen your signals?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the whole point. Like, there's not the next week's opponent shouldn't have any signal, so you don't have to think about changing them because, well, they don't have them.
Right.
But here's a team cheating to get them. So and doing it without those teams knowing. There's another texter says, are we sure other teams don't video in-game signs? Well, I don't know if they are or not. I know one has gotten caught doing it. This is like any cheating. There might be others that are cheating, but when you get caught cheating, you get punished for it. And if all that happens in this case is Jim Harbaugh serving a short suspension, what deters anybody from doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, our coach will have to serve a 2 or 3 game suspension?
Yeah, my guess.
Versus us having the signs of the teams we play? I don't know. It seems pretty obvious.
My guess is that also happens, but like you said, nobody has been caught to this point. I think there's a lot of
anything
teams
in the history of the world cheating that people got caught and punished for. There might have been other teams that doing it that didn't get caught. All you can do is you punish the ones that do get caught to try and deter the others from doing it. And if all that happens is suspension of Jim Harbaugh, that's not much of a deterrent.
The other thing that we've heard is that in this particular case of Michigan, that some of the schools knew what Michigan was doing, but they didn't rat out Michigan because they do it. They cheat. So why go ahead and spill the beans on Michigan when they do it themselves? And so the texter, to answer the question, again, just my educated guess is yes. I'm not saying all teams do it to that extreme, but I guarantee it's more than just Michigan.
And the other thing, Michigan was like, this guy was just an idiot about how he did it. Like he's literally buying the tickets with his own credit card. Like they couldn't have made it more obvious. And if you don't this is very easy to track this stuff. Like who bought tickets, then you can go back and look at video of where those tickets are, who's sitting in those seats, what they're doing. Like the guy was awful at this. For a dude who has a military background, he is not very good at being secretive about his maneuvers.
If you weren't with us in hour one, we talked a lot about the Tigers' win last night. Opening day of college basketball, beat Jackson State 94-77. Melvin is dialed in. I'm sure wants to talk a little Tigers. I'm Melvin. Melvin, how are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, we know there's the first game. It's going to be bumpy. You know how guys, you got all these 10, 11 new guys, so they got to get chemistry. And one thing we talk about every year, like you said the other game, like, come on, man, we already changed the lineup. Like, what we doing here? Like, man, let the folks get a groove. But, John, we know to beat that, but the turnovers, because those guys got to learn, just get the ball up to the guard. It looked like the first year when he was telling DJ Jeffries, all those guys, you the point guard, you the point guard, you the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't work. And I got a feeling this going to kind of go towards that way for all the turnovers. And it's something doing an exhibition game. You said, I've been called in and said, without us getting Williams, we're gonna get killed on the boards. There's gonna be our weakness, turnovers and defensive rebound. I think there's gonna be a problem.
Man, you're a pessimist, Melvin. Jeez, already.
No, I'm not being negative. I've been to both exhibition games saying this, and you call the other game. Well, no, you didn't call the exhibition game, but you can see it. Like you see the rebound.
Oh yeah, I talked about it. They gave up a lot of offensive rebounds, and that's effort, right? That is effort. They got out rebounded last night. That's effort. So I can understand that, but they have the players to be able to do it. It's just get the motors going, and they should be fine. That is one of the longest teams I've seen as far as their size, not just tall. I mean, they're long arms, long legs. Maybe the longest team that I could think of that Penny has put together from player to player. And they should be able to rebound better.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, he's gonna take some chemistry, Brock. You see it, Caleb Mills, every time he get the ball, he's shooting it. So guys gonna have to play. Like I said, when Jalen Young came in, he moved smoother, but like they gonna have to get it together.
I hear you.
Fast.
I hear you, Melvin. I hear you. Thank you, my friend. Look, it's game one. They are still, I assume, the coaching staff looking at their options. They threw in a lot of different combinations last night. When you have the players they have, the depth they have, you're not going to be a well-oiled machine after one game. Now, he did make a good point about those turnovers. We saw a couple of times when Jaquan Walton would get the rebound, make a play down at the one end, and he starts to dribble the length of the court, and they knock it out from behind. He's not a point guard. That's when you give the ball to Jalen Young or give the ball to Quinterly, who's most of the time going to be in there, or even Caleb Mills when he runs the point. Get the point guard the ball. Jaquan Walton is not the point guard. David Jones, same deal. David Jones telegraphed some of his passes. That's why he had 5 turnovers. But again, it's game one. And they still won by 17. They shot the ball extremely well. A lot of positive things. We'll have a better understanding of this team on Friday. I don't expect them to be perfect, but they better be better because they're playing a good Missouri team on Missouri's home court. So when we turn around on Monday on this show, we'll have a lot more to evaluate from a team that plays Missouri as opposed, with all due respect, plays a team like Jackson State, which is good, but not Missouri. All right, from the world of baseball, what is going on with your Cubbies? Did you have any inkling that David Ross was going to get let go?
Nobody had any inkling that David Ross was going to be let go because they've made no indication that they were going to let him go. And as a matter of fact, said the opposite of that. That's a crazy move. Just the way they did it. You are taking a big risk because had they not got counsel and it got out that they had talked to counsel, that doesn't look very good. Now they end up getting him, so it all works out, and they can just tell David Ross, "See ya." But that would have been a weird situation if they talked to counsel. He ends up going to the Mets, and then it gets out that, by the way, hey David, they were talking to Craig Counsell while you were still working for them.
What kind of compensation do they have to give up for counsel?
Nothing.
Nothing?
His contract.
He's not under contract?
That's why he was going to leave. Everybody.
Oh,
there was a chance he was going to go.
Wait,
back
I
to the
thought
Brewers.
he had to get permission to talk to the Mets.
He did if you want to talk to him before October 31st.
Okay. So Counsell stays in the same division, goes from Milwaukee to the Cubs. If you missed this, reportedly 5 years, $40 million, $8 million per year for Craig Counsell, who's well respected. So now the Brewers in the market for a manager. The Cubs get rid of David Ross, and they bring in Counsell. Meanwhile, the Mets...
Michigan should take instructions from the Cubs. He was able to talk to Craig Counsell, get the deal done, and hire him on Sunday. It didn't come out till Monday afternoon. Nobody had a clue that the Cubs had even talked to Craig Counsell. They had a deal done with him.
You know who was involved in the deal? Connor Stallions.
No, that's the problem. Connor Stallions would have been involved in the deal. He would have had Craig Counsell sitting in the middle of Wrigley Field for the interview.
The Mets went ahead and hired Carlos Mendoza. He's a former New York Yankees bench coach, so he'll take over for the Mets. And the Guardians hired Stephen Vogt. That seemed to come out of nowhere. I know the Angels have been talking to Buck Showalter. Not sure if they're going to pull the trigger on him, but yeah, Stephen Vogt is the new Guardians manager as he replaces Terry Francona.
Also the Cubs of Paris. So Jed Hoyer gets, and he was the only one, partly like people in the organization didn't even know they were meeting with Counsell. Hoyer was the only one to meet with him. He meets with him. They basically get the deal done. That's on
super secret meeting.
Sunday, as soon as they get the word that Counsell's agreed to it. Then he flies to Florida to meet with David Ross. So
oh, wow.
Hey, David, you're fired because we've already hired your replacement.
Don't you feel bad for David Ross?
Yeah.
He's a beloved Cub.
You just don't see it done that way. I mean, to hire the replacement without giving the coach, the manager, any indication that you're firing him. Like, again, Jed Hoyer a month ago said, David Ross is our guy. When the season ended, he said, David Ross is our guy. And to hire a guy basically behind his back, then go tell him, hey, by the way, you're done. Got your replacement. That's again, interesting way about going. I like Craig Counsell a lot. I don't know if I can agree with the way this was done. You got to fire the guy first. I just don't like hiring the guy behind the dude's back. But I do. Listen, would I rather have Craig Counsell managing the Cubs than David Ross? 100%. But that's a weird way of going about hiring the new manager.
I'm sure there's a lot of Cubs fans that feel the same way as you do, and some that are upset. They probably do feel that Counsell gives them the better chance, and he's a proven manager. And I don't know if if Ross has really proven himself. Although the Cubs were supposed to be horrible and they hung in there for a while this year. But, yeah, just the way he was let go. And unfortunately, we've seen that in sports. Guys that are loyal to a certain organization, having played there, having coached there, and then unceremoniously let go. If you missed it earlier, our topic for tomorrow's 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite movies with a character's name in the title. Your 5 favorite movies with a character's name in the title. 5 favorite things for tomorrow. James Gaddis Jewelers is your family's jeweler. They're also the second-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. Last week was a big week with Designer Week, but it's always a big week at James Gaddis Jewelers because they're always adding to their collection. Their fine jewelry, their custom-made jewelry, their estate and vintage jewelry. And you have the holidays right around the corner. If you're looking to get engaged over the holidays, look no further than James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. For that beautiful engagement ring, for wedding rings, for personally designed wedding sets, it's James Gaddis Jewelers. And then, of course, all types of watches and gemstones, bracelets and necklaces, earrings and pendants, so much more. James Gaddis Jewelers. They have 2 repair experts to help you with your fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing is available. Locally owned, family owned, and operated, James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. They are a part of the Memphis Fabric Tech. Check them out as soon as you can. When we come back, we're going to check out what's happening with the University of Memphis women's soccer team, and it's all good. We'll be joined by their head coach, Brooks Monaghan. He's in for Jeff Crane this week as we give Jeff the week off. He'll return next week to talk University of Memphis athletics, but it's all about University of Memphis women's soccer when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard from the University of Memphis football team. Is your credit card rewarding you for everyday purchases? Southern Security has a perfect low-interest reward card that will upgrade your wallet. Max rate is 18%, no annual fees, no cash advance fees. For more information, visit southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at DriveMax. 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 You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Grind don't stop. Join Jaron Dez and your Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at 7 p.m. when they host the Miami Heat for State of Tennessee HBCU Day, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners. Secure your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting Grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Wrapping up the earlier wreck on Getwell, just south of 240. Traffic's really busy on Billmore's Parkway right now. Here at Ridgeway, getting on to 240 up by Mount Moriah. It continues to build down certain sections of Austin P Highway coming southbound, especially there trying to get on the interstate at I-40. Hey, get rid of that old junk car today by calling Memphis for junk cars. That number, it's easy. It's area code 901-258-8999. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
They are 18-1. For the third successive year, they are the American Conference Tournament champions of women's soccer, and they are looking to go far in the NCAA tournament. They have the team to do so. They have the coach to take them there. He is Brooks Monaghan. He's the University of Memphis women's soccer coach. What a great job he has done. You can follow him on Twitter at Coach_Monaghan. Brooks, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on another outstanding job this season, the conference tournament championship, and now hopefully some big things in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
So let's talk about something yesterday that may have irked you just a bit, and I think it certainly did for Memphis women's soccer fans. Here is a team, as I just mentioned, that's 18-1, 4 wins over Power 5 teams, conference tournament champions, number 8 in the country, mind you, and you are a 6th seed, a number 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough, but, for everybody out there, I think our bracket gets compared to basketball, right? But at the end of the day, right, basketball, they bring in, billions of dollars or $1 billion or whatever for March Madness and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so with us, what comes into play is these first couple of rounds, they want to regionalize. Well, if you start regionalizing, it's really, really difficult to give true seeding, right? So, it's maybe one day we get there where, they treat us maybe like how basketball is treated, but obviously it's out of my control.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a bit disappointing, right? Because you can't control. We played a very tough non-conference schedule. That's what I have control of. Obviously we play in the conference we play in, AAC, which is a good conference. It was a little bit down. Can't control that, but you know what? The kids took care of business in every game. So, you can't focus on that too much, but yeah, just a little bit disappointed and feel like we definitely got slighted. I honestly thought we would probably be a 3 seed, and unfortunately we got a 6.
So going into, as you now look at the way the bracket sets up for you, again, obviously disappointing to see, but how do you look at your bracket? How do you look at your draw and your opportunity to make a run?
Yeah, and you guys know, man, you can never look past anybody. And once you get to the national tournament, everybody's going to be playing at their best. On any given day, anybody can beat anybody. But it is what it is. Obviously, we match up. We play LSU the first game. An interesting one because we hosted them in the first round of the NCAA tournament 2 years ago. And, they're good, right? They come from a good league. They're extremely athletic. And, you can't help but look who's all in your bracket. But at the end of the day, right, my focus, our staff's focus, our girls' focus have to be one game at a time just on LSU. And it will not be a cakewalk. I can guarantee we're going to have to be at our best, man. We are really going to have to be at our best to give ourselves a chance to get that first one.
A lot of the cast of characters are the same throughout the last few years, the great run, but certainly some newcomers, and you've tweaked that roster. How would you compare this year's roster overall to last year's, which made us a great run in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think there's more depth with this year's roster for sure. I'm not the coach that's just a sub, but I would say that the depth is there. I mean, we've got some, we've got a good mixture of returning players that, that are fourth or fifth year seniors, with some freshmen that have really stepped up. So a little bit different roster. We're playing more freshmen this year, and at the end of the day, we do have a little bit more depth.
One player that's at the forefront of this is Maya Jones. What makes her so good?
Well, Maya's always been good since the day she came in as a freshman. She's always had the talent, but just her growth over time, it's been pretty fun to watch. I mean, not only is she, a very dynamic player, but she does all the little things right off the field. She's one of our captains. It's easy for the younger kids because with the captains that we have, because all they got to do is follow in the footsteps of our leaders. But I would just say her approach to the sport, right? It's just very professional, and it's not about just showing up on game days. It's all the work that's put in behind the scenes that she does, and it's not just all the physical work. It's the mental preparation, and it's just doing all the right things to give yourself your best chance to perform at a high level.
You've been around long enough to know the times when there wasn't a thing called NIL. Now there is, and NIL affects all sports, some more than others, but certainly it affects all sports, and these student athletes are certainly looking to be able to cash in on their name, image, and likeness. With that said, when it comes to recruiting, what is your selling point? Because obviously it has worked. What is your selling point to get these young ladies to commit to the University of Memphis?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, I mean, football and basketball are different. A different world than what we live in when it comes to NIL. But, at our university, it's been good because there's been quite a few opportunities, since NIL has come out. And, to be able to spread the wealth amongst my team and opportunities for them to show up and to different events and sign autographs. So there is opportunity. I mean, I often say this. I hope I'm retired by the time our sport turns into a football and basketball because it's madness, right? It's absolute madness. But it is question. The question does get brought up sometimes. I know that it's going to get brought up more in the future. But right now, you just want to be able to compete with that. Like Ryan wants to be able to compete with other teams in his league and across the country. And I think right now in women's soccer, with what our kids are offered, we're able to compete.
The winning streak you've got going, having won that many games in a row, do you feel like, is there extra pressure? Does that build pressure?
I think there's been a lot of pressure built on this team. I mean, it's totally different. I mean, obviously the run we went on last year, we were basically a coin toss away from the Elite Eight, right, because we lost in penalties. But last year we were able to play the underdog card. We really were, because we didn't start off the season that great. A lot of adversity that we faced, and then we came together and made that run. Where this year, right out of the gate, we probably based on last year's performance, we were ranked. So, we've had a big target on our back the whole season. And so I think the kids are used to it. I mean, again, the lower that number by your name, the bigger the target, right? Every game that we've played, we feel like we've gotten, every team's best game, right? We do a lot of film work, breaking teams down, and maybe we're like, this team isn't that good. Well, guess what? They're better than we thought, and that's become repetitive, and that's that's what happens in sport. Anytime somebody that doesn't have a number by their name gets to play somebody that's ranked, they get excited, So our kids are used to it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to play. It's always fun to be the underdog, but unfortunately we're not able to do that this year.
Brooks, you were talking about last year and coming up short in PKs. And I know PKs is exciting for the layman like myself, going back to the Women's World Cup victory and Brandi Chastain. I mean, it's excitement. But for a coach coaching the entire season and comes down to PKs, would you rather it be something else?
Depends. If we win them, no. If we lose, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it is, guys, because if you really think about it in our sport, NBA goes overtime, football goes overtime. They all have, I mean, it's like a different sport incorporated. You know what I mean? So it's really, really difficult. At the club level, the high school level, the college level, the pro level. I mean, it's a bit crazy. So yeah, would it be nice to do it, handle it a different way? Yes, but I've grown up since a kid playing, and that's just the way it is. So you just have to embrace it and keep your fingers crossed, because it is definitely not always the best team that ends up with the W when it goes to PK.
Right.
It really isn't. And that's why I said earlier it's kind of a flip of a coin.
You mentioned the fact that just a couple of years ago you saw LSU in the first round. What's the kind of the scouting report on them? What's the expectation for this matchup?
Yeah, to be honest, we just found out last night. Just got in. Half of our team just got in yesterday. The other half got in Sunday night. So we haven't started really breaking them down. Now, I have, this day and age, soccer is on ESPN Play. You can watch a lot of soccer. So. And I do, right? I'm a coach, but don't know a ton about them. But I've watched them play, just playing instead of scouting them. And I know they're extremely athletic. They're very talented. They've had an up and down season. They've had some games that on paper they shouldn't have won. And then they've won some, they've lost some games that maybe they should have won. So I just know that, they're looking at this because they were a bubble team. They were sitting in that room yesterday when the selection show came out, not knowing their fate. And so, when you, and I've been there, and when you hear your name called, man, the energy. So it's kind of like another life. So I know that we're going to get a great, a very tough match come Saturday night.
And again, you'll get the host. Have they announced the game time?
Yeah, it's at 7:00 Saturday. Yep.
So 7:00 Saturday night, Memphis will host LSU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And one final thing before we let you go, Brooks. And I know, look, it's unfinished business. You're worried about what's going on in the tournament, what's ahead. But my gosh, what a regular season, what a conference slate. You end up picking up all the postseason awards. I don't know if that's ever happened in any sport. To be able to sweep all those awards that you guys did says an awful lot about your dominance of the American Conference.
Yeah, I could not be prouder of this group of young ladies. And also, right, to go through conference play in our sport, to not drop a point. And what that means is there was no ties. We beat everybody. And then to have to beat teams twice, you guys know, you followed sports a long time, that is no easy task. So what these kids have been able to do, it's never been done in the American, right? I mean, the first thing we've heard is it's never been done just the regular season to go through the whole conference season and not drop a point, So that's never been done. So for sure, to do what we did and then win the conference tournament, sometimes people don't realize how hard that is. So I, again, could not be prouder of this group of girls. And, it's a great group, and we just want to keep this thing going.
He is Brooks Monaghan. He's the University of Memphis women's soccer coach. You can follow him on Twitter at Coach_Monaghan. Coach, as always, we really appreciate you joining us. Best of luck to you. We'll be watching, and let's have a nice long run in the NCAA tournament.
I appreciate that, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Coach.
We have a correct answer, by the way, in our Humdingers trivia, and Zach, but I need your tiebreaker services here in just a moment. The question...
Zach doesn't like doing that.
No, I'm just playing.
The question was, C.J. Stroud on Sunday became just the second rookie quarterback ever to throw for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game. Who was the first to do it? You have a guess?
So, can you give me a little hint? Maybe the error?
Still plays today.
Oh, still plays today? Rodgers?
No. Aaron Rodgers didn't even start as a rookie.
Stafford?
You're right.
Who'd you say?
Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Very well done.
Wow.
Very well done.
Zach, all right.
Bravo. There were a lot of Andrew Lucks, but he is
That's a good guess, yeah.
Not correct. Matthew Stafford, 2009, was the only other rookie quarterback to throw for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game. We have a 3-way tie, 3 correct answers that all came in at the same time. There were a lot of other correct answers that came in later. So, Mr. Boyd, here is your options today. We're going to go Alvin, Simon, or Theodore.
I'm trying to think of which one is which. So
You're wearing a red pullover, red
Alvin
hoodie. Doesn't one of them wear the red sweater?
Alvin wears red.
Simon wears blue. Theodore wears green.
And now I'm trying. Is Simon the shorter, fat one, or is Theodore the?
I think that's Theodore.
Theodore's the short, fat one, and Simon's the taller one. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I was thinking that. But then when you just said that, I got my mind got messed up.
Man, that's hard because
Alvin and the Chipmunks trivia here on Sports 56 Mornings.
I like Theodore, so we're going to give it to Theodore.
All right, Theodore. I did not expect you to go Theodore. I would have thought Theodore would be the last possible answer. You're throwing curveball. You got the question right. You're throwing Theodore out there as the choice amongst the 3. Theodore, I would say Theodore's the worst of the Chipmunks.
I can't
believe you know this Chipmunk. I know you would know this, Zach.
I used to watch Alvin and the Chipmunks all the time.
Did you really?
I loved Alvin and the
Chipmunks.
Yeah, their Christmas album was very prevalent to me.
Dude, the Chipmunks are awesome.
Yes.
It's up there with Perry Como's Christmas album.
Alvin!
I can relate to Theodore because growing up I was that chubby looking kid, so I had the big cheeks and everything. So Theodore was the one I kind of relate.
There you go.
I'm the fat guy now. I guess I probably should change my tune from my older days when I didn't respect Theodore as much. I should have a newfound respect for Theodore. But we will notify our winner, let you know how you're going to get your gift certificate, as far as the $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. Well, folks, Thanksgiving is coming very, very quickly, as a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks away. And if you are responsible for putting that turkey together, making that turkey, cooking that turkey, well, one place you're going to need to go, that is Memphis Barbecue Supply. Whatever method you're going to use to cook it, whether you're smoking it on the grill, whether you're deep frying it, whether you're just cooking it in the oven, they got supplies that you need. They've got over 20 different turkey injections and brines to make sure that turkey is juicy and moist. They've got the brine buckets, they got the brine bags, all of that stuff. They've got 308 different rubs and sauces that you can use. They've got, if you're smoking it, 9 different types of wood chips, chunks, mini logs. They've got that taken care of. You also got, of course, your charcoal. They've got your pellets. They've got that if you're smoking that turkey. They certainly have all of that stuff taken care of. Thermometers, injectors, all those things to make it as easy as possible. Plus, they got a great staff that can help you answer those questions that you may have about cooking that turkey. Maybe it's the first time you've been responsible for the turkey, first time you've tried to deep fry it, or first time you've tried to smoke it. They can answer questions that you might have, and I speak from experience on that. 7041 Stage Road, 7041 Stage Road. That's the address for Memphis Barbecue Supply. mbbqsupply.com is the website, and you can order online right there on the website as well. So if you're responsible for that turkey, don't disappoint the family. You want to make sure that turkey is absolutely perfect, and the first step is getting your supplies at Memphis Barbecue Supply.
When we come back, we'll talk some NBA. We'll tell you what Joel Embiid did last night for the 76ers and what James Harden couldn't do for his new team, the Los Angeles Clippers. That and more when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another dealer and were turned down, Sunrise can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over a $10 million used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The blowout going on now at all Sunrise locations, Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Save on stuff you really need and stuff you bought for fun. Stuff you've always really wanted this holiday at Amazon. Stuff that is discounted if you're naughty or you're nice. Stuff to buy your grandma who drinks her Chardonnay with ice. Stuff to make you big and strong. Stuff we can't name in this song. Stuff for lawns and decking halls. Save big on stuff at Amazon. Stuff.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Who do you think appears on the most commercials? Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, or Peyton Manning?
Shaq.
You think Shaq?
Shaq.
What do you say, Eli?
What's Barkley do other than Subway?
He does the credit card one.
Oh, the Capital One.
Yeah,
Capital One.
During the NCAA tournament.
Man, he's on a lot.
I still think it's Shaq.
Shaq's got what right now?
He got Papa John's.
He's got his Papa John's. Yeah,
Shaq-a-roni.
The General Cash. What a horrendous set of commercials that is.
I know, the Generals.
I love it.
It's like it's a low-budget commercial, but they're funny.
Icy Hot.
Yeah, he's on a lot. But Peyton's everywhere now. But Peyton's on a lot of, like, I'm hosting the Country Awards, the AMA or whatever that, and he's and
Travis Kelce's on probably the most right now.
You think Kelce's on the most?
Well, Kelce right
he's
now
on a lot.
He has State Farm. He has the vaccination ones.
Right.
He has what's the other one? He's on
the one with the kid when they do the chest bump?
Yes. That's a credit card.
That's a credit card. Well, Mahomes does 1 million of them too.
He on T-Mobile?
It might be T-Mobile.
Kelsey
on T-Mobile.
Yeah, I want to say there's another one he's on. I think there's 4 different major campaigns he's on right now.
Mahomes is on a lot of them too.
Well, Mahomes is mainly all just State Farm.
No, he does Subway. Mahomes is on Subway, as is Steph Curry. Tom Brady makes an appearance.
Justin
Herbert's on one commercial, right? Subway, right?
Yeah.
But those guys, the 3 I mentioned, Shaq, Barkley, Peyton Manning, throwing Kelce, throwing Mahomes. My gosh. They do the bulk of commercials that are done by sports spokespeople. It's incredible. All right, NBA, what were you going to say?
Yeah, the Kelce brothers on Campbell Soup.
Yeah, you got that.
Campbell Soup.
Dude, I'm talking Kelce. Mama Kelce right now is everywhere. He is constantly on commercials.
And there's only going to be more. As long as he's hooked up with Taylor Swift. I guarantee it's going to be more. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's exactly right. NBA last night. Some wild games last night. First of all, Philadelphia beats Washington 146-128. Defense was optional. Joel Embiid in the third quarter scored 29 points. He didn't miss a shot. 29 points in the third quarter. Think about that. Also, you had James Harden make his debut for the Clippers. They did start Harden with Westbrook, Kawhi, and Paul George. Harden went for 17 points, 6 assists in 31 minutes. I didn't watch any of the games, so I don't know how that really worked, the dynamic between Harden and Russell Westbrook, who had the ball the most. But the Clippers lost. There's only one game, but they went to New York and lost at the Garden by 14 points, 111-97.
Yeah, R.J. Barrett went off. Julius Randle went off.
Yeah, Julius Randle's been struggling, so he had a big game.
They beat him with Jalen Brunson going I think Jalen Brunson had 7 points or something like that.
Lakers lose to Miami. Miami will be in town to play the Grizzlies tomorrow night. 108-107. Came down to the wire. Austin Reeves had a big game. AD tweaked his hip in the loss, but he says he expects a quick return. You also had Indiana last night scoring 152 points and beating San Antonio 152-111. 152 points in a regulation game. Houston wins again.
When you make a lot of threes, they add up.
Houston wins again. They beat Sacramento by 25. Sacramento's a little amiss here early in the season. I didn't see Brooks' stats. Let me look up Dillon. Not a great game. 9 points, 6 rebounds.
Dillon Brooks is a different person. Dillon Brooks last night played the most minutes of any starter for the Rockets and attempted the fewest shots of any starter for the Rockets.
Is it an improved Dillon Brooks? I would say yes, right?
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's happening. But he's like it almost, and I haven't watched any of their games. I just look at the box scores once in a while. It's almost as if he's only taking good shots. But I can't believe that's the case.
Novel concept there.
I refuse to believe that's the case, but it would appear, just looking at stats, he's not really taking the bad shots.
Wait till the Rockets play the Grizzlies.
Oh, wait till he wakes up and he realizes he's Dillon Brooks.
Celtics lost for the first time, so there's not going to be an undefeated team in the NBA this year, Eli. I don't know if you figured there would be, but Minnesota beats Boston in overtime. 114-109. Anthony Edwards is making his case. Yeah, he should definitely be an all-star. You had Denver win again, beat New Orleans 134-116. Another triple-double for Nikola Jokic. So when you look at the standings, the Grizzlies continue to be the worst record-wise in the league at 1-6, but they did win their last game. Utah just ahead of them at 2-6, and Utah will be next after Miami. Is it Friday? Friday or Saturday? No, it's Friday. It's part of the in-season tournament. So Utah's just ahead at 2-6 in the West. In the East, Washington, which has a win over the Grizzlies, they are 1-5, and Detroit is 2-6.
Brooks, his 3-point percentage has slipped down to 56.5%. He's shooting nearly 60% from the field.
Wow. Does he qualify though? Is he taking enough shots?
It's bizarre.
Among the league leaders?
I don't know what that's going on, but he doesn't miss shots. Suddenly Dylan Brooks doesn't miss shots.
Here is a name that came up as soon as the Steven Adams injury was announced that he would be out for the year, and people kind of scurried around looking at different rosters. Who could the Grizzlies acquire? Obviously, they have signed Bismack Biyombo. But Portland's Robert Williams, who came over from Boston in the trade, he is done. He will require knee surgery. He's expected to be sidelined for an extended period of time. Good chance he could be lost for the entire year. He hurt that knee against the Grizzlies. He underwent an MRI on Monday. That was a name that certainly came up as far as a replacement for Adams.
He's had knee problems seemingly his entire career. So it's unfortunate for him. He's a good player when he's healthy, but he has had a lot of trouble staying healthy, mainly because of his knees.
And even though Denver won last night over New Orleans, Jamal Murray injured. He has a right hamstring strain, and he will miss, according to their coach, extended time. We know what a difference Jamal Murray made last year. They win the NBA title. I don't think they win it without him. As good as Jokic is, they don't win it without Jamal Murray. And for the sake of Denver, and again, Michael Malone coming out and saying it'll be extended time, let's hope that it's not a real long time period for the Denver fans, because they need Jamal Murray.
Folks, if you've got a move coming up, you want to make sure you have professionals to help you move. Don't be trying to do it yourself. Don't try and ask your friends. Get professionals. Get people who you know you can trust to make sure that your things get where they're going without any problems. And that the right call to make, well, that would be Black Tie Moving. Black Tie Moving at 901-316-6196. You can also go to their website, blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Talk with them. They work with you, coming up with a plan fitting both your needs and your budget, and they'll give you a no obligation quote up front. You don't have to worry about a thing. You can, it takes a lot of the stress and worry out of the whole move for you. Plus, if you got questions that come up during the move, well, you've got a moving concierge that's available 24/7 that you could call and get those questions answered immediately. So anything that does come up, you get those answers right away from Black Tie Moving. They've got 5-star ratings all over online. They've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They are the best in the business. Black Tie Moving. Again, give them a call, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
Coming up in our final hour, it's our Roads segment. We'll talk some basketball with their head basketball coach, Zoe Goodson, and then Blake Topmeyer will join us from USA Today Network to talk college football, specifically the SEC. We'll continue to read your texts at 901-360-8255. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Get ready for holiday feast season with Pepto-Bismol.
Uncle Derek's here with his famous fried turkey. Hey, Aunt Mary brought the mac and cheese. Donna's here with the potato salad.
Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief for unexpected stomach upsets. So enjoy the holidays. Pepto has you covered, no matter who made the potato salad.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choates has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choates also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choates' Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your early bird special today. And turn to the experts with Choates and let our family serve your family.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. There's still a couple of wrecks out here getting some attention. Still a bit busy over here on 40 westbound. As you come past Sycamore View Road, getting on that 240 flyover. Some of that traffic is getting off there onto Sam Cooper. It continues to build up through Midtown on 240 northbound up by Norris all the way to Lamar. 55 still crowded southbound across the bridge coming over from West Memphis. Hey, get rid of that old junk car today by calling Memphis for Junk Cars. Area code 901, of course, 258-8999. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looked great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple, that's what we're taught.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, their overstock sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 69 degrees as you get your Tuesday going. Mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy with a high of 83. That's today, actually, a high of 83. Tonight, though, 64 degrees, which is nice, but considerable cloudiness with occasional rain showers. And then tomorrow, we got a mixture of sunshine and clouds with a high of 66 degrees. It is time now to talk some Rhodes athletics.
It's time to go inside Rhodes College Athletics on Sports 56 Mornings. Every week, a representative from Rhodes will join Greg and Eli to talk about all things Lynx. Let's go inside Rhodes Athletics now on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We have been talking a lot about the Rhodes football team with Coach Rich Duncan. We certainly enjoyed our time with Rich, and now a very familiar face and familiar name, and a gentleman who's been on with us numerous times over the years, and that is the head men's basketball coach at Rhodes, and that is Zoe Goodson, who joins us now on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at Zoe Goodson, as now basketball takes center stage. Zoe, getting ready for the start of the regular season with your first game tomorrow night at Belhaven, and then on to the beautiful Rocky Mountains of Colorado to face Colorado College this weekend. How are you? And thanks for joining us.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'm good. We're excited. We're ready to go. And so the official season starts tomorrow. Thank God. We had a couple exhibition games against Division I and Division II opponents, so it's going to be nice to get into the D3 schedule now.
we always talk about when we like the Tigers play Lemoyne and stuff like, what can they get out of that exhibition game? You guys are on the other end playing up. What can you get out of those exhibition games?
Well, it's a good test just to see where you really are at this point as far as offensively, defensively. We found we were exposed to very important places on the offensive end in both games. Against Jackson State, they did a great job overplaying us, and we didn't handle the pressure very well. So we did a lot leading into Trevecca to try to fix that. And so, you get exposed in certain areas that, you don't necessarily see when you're playing each other every day. And so for us, it was good to see a different type of defense. We don't overplay and deny in our defense, and both of those teams do. And so going into both games, we tried to mimic it, but those are teams that practice it literally every day. So you get a chance to see that. And then, from their standpoint, I've been on the other side. I've been with a Memphis or the Texas Techs or whoever, and you're playing a Division II or Division III opponent. And it's the same, but it's also an opportunity to make sure you get a chance to play everybody. For those folks, there's a lot of guys that got some minutes that may not get a lot of minutes when they head into their regular season.
As you get ready for the start of the season, what are the prospects overall for this team?
Prospects and what our expectations are into the season?
Yes.
Yeah, we finished second last year in the league, and I think we have the talent and we have the ability level to finish. We want to win the league. That's our expectation, and that's my expectation. We talk about it, but right now, I had a great conversation with the team in the locker room, and you could tell, a lot of these guys are returning. They were used to winning last year, and they were feeling like they were down. I said, look, fellas, we're 0-0. And right now, we're just going to talk about getting better. That's all I can. We're so young. We're playing so many freshmen and sophomores that I'm not really talking about the pressure of what we're looking for in February right now, because if we do that, we'll just be beat down and wore out mentally in mid-December if I just keep harping on chasing the championship. So right now, the goal is just keep trying to get better. I know that sounds cliche, but we're so young that I don't want to put too big of expectations out there right now. But look, I know I'm a competitive person. I know the whole staff is, and here at Rhodes, we got a championship culture. We got a lot of teams that are competing for championships, and at the end of the day, we want to be one of them.
You do have your leading scorer from last year back, Phil Dotson. Talk a little bit about him and his game.
Yeah, Phil, a local Memphian, great young man, really good basketball player. He's a starting point guard, really fast, crafty basketball player that we're really lucky to have. He was being recruited by a lot of Division IIs himself. He chose to stay home and be right here in Memphis because it's the place he loves the most. But he's just an incredible young man, but a great basketball player, great shooter. He's really hard to guard because he can get to the rim and blow right by you, but he can also knock down a 25, 28-footer with ease. Really fun to watch, but even more fun to coach because he's such a coachable and likable young man.
So tell everybody about some of the other names we should be looking forward to watching this year that'll be big for your team.
Yeah, we have two seniors, Arness Georgetown the second, and Hayden Lamy, both guys. They're my first initial recruiting class. That class was made up of 7, and it has dwindled down to 2 over the years, which is kind of part of the Division III way. Guys they transfer or they get more focused on their academics and have to get into pre-med, and they graduate in 3 and move on to med school or whatever it might be. But Arness and Hayden are really good basketball players that we're really, really lucky to have as well. Hayden's a great three-point shooter. He lights out. He's definitely one of the better shooters on the team. He's had a injury plagued career to this point, the most games he's played in a season, I think, is 12 at this point. So we're trying to keep him healthy. The biggest stat that I tell people all the time with Hayden Lamy, when he's on the floor and playing minutes, we've won 72% of our games, of the games that he's actually played in his over the last 3 years. He's a winner. I mean, he's a guy that just he makes everybody. He draws so much attention with his ability to knock down a three. He spreads the floor out so much, and he opens up a lot of other guys to do what they do best. And then Arnett, he's been our Iron Man. He's a guy, the exact opposite. He hasn't missed a game. Knock on wood, he hasn't missed a single game, and started almost every single game since he's been here as a freshman. I think he's only not started 2 games, but literally has played in every single game since he's been here. He is our main leader on the team. He's a guy that everybody looks up to. You talk about a young man that's going to make a difference in the world every single day. He's going to law school, but I tell you, he's very interested in politics, and I promise you I wouldn't be surprised if we're all staring at the TV in 10, 15 years from now, watching him as a leader of this country.
With the fact that you mentioned you're going to be young, you're going to have a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing, is it tough for you to be patient when young guys make the normal young guy mistakes?
If you would have seen me on Saturday, you would know that it is harder than I could even put into words.
Yeah, your voice sounds a little scratchy still. So.
We had Sunday off, so we played Saturday. We had Sunday off, so yesterday was a very spirited practice, to say the least. So, yeah, I mean, everybody, you guys know me. You guys have been around me enough to know that patience isn't my best character trait. So I have a little trouble with it, but I am trying to teach myself. The last thing, my father was at the game on Saturday. He coached me when I was younger, and the very last thing he said to me when he walked away was, "Hey, just remember, there's a lot of F's and S's next to those names on the roster. They're going to be fine in January. Give them some time." So, and he's right. But yeah, I mean, look, every coach, we all have this complex where we want it all, and we want it all right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it is fun watching. Like yesterday, I thought about this on my drive in this morning. I'm sorry about my voice, fellas, but I was coaching. I was having a hard time getting through to one of the guys on a specific way to guard something. He just wasn't getting it. But all of a sudden, one of my juniors who's out, he's on the sideline. He's very into practice. Jonathan Prang. He steps in and he's like, "Coach, can I try something?" So then all of a sudden I watched my 2 seniors and my other junior, Xavier Williams. They're all in. They just took over practice and started coaching this particular freshman. And so when you have things like that happen, it makes it a lot easier because you're like, okay, they're teaching me how to be patient. And so I tell people all the time, I love it when I get just as much from them as I try to give them. And they really taught me a good lesson of being patient, because next thing you know, they take their time explaining the situation and how they see it. And it was a few different ways in wording, and very next play he got it. And so it's just awesome that we have that leadership, and those guys are able to teach me to be a little more patient as well.
It's and that was a loaded question because I knew the answer to that. But the thing is, but that's in sports. Like, people will want to tell you, as a coach, well, you need to be patient. Fans aren't patient. Nobody's patient in sports. Everybody wants results immediately, from fans to administrators to coaches. Everybody thinks like you should win right away.
Well, it could also affect livelihood of coaches and players that are professionals if they're not producing.
Correct. And that's just it. And that's what I tell you guys, this is how I put food on the table. This is my job, right? And so we feel that pressure. I mean, and everybody does. And like you said, no matter who it is, and they can say, "Oh, well, we got to be patient. We believe in the process. We trust you." But at the end of the day, everybody's going back, and when the losses start adding up, people are looking at them and they're talking about them.
All right, so I want to know from a coach's standpoint. We can guess at this stuff, but there's a difference. You've coached at the big programs and now in Division III. the difference between a basketball player that has that talent, that could play at the D1 level, and a basketball player that's playing at a D3 level. I know that the players all are competitive and they all want to win. That's probably universal. But what are the differences especially when you're recruiting, the big D1 players and you're recruiting for Division III?
Well, the biggest thing that even our guys are talking about after playing Jackson State this past week, the length of each athlete. Their big guy is 6'11". Our starting center is 6'5", right? We could go down the list as far as a lot of different things, but you're talking. There is a different level of athleticism. I mean, that's a given, I think, and everybody can see that. We average, getting up to the rim 1 dunk a game. They're averaging 4 or 5 dunks a game, with ease. There's a lot of the ability we have to back off, in the way we defend things. We may have to give a step because quickness may be a lot better on the other side. So there's a lot of differences, but the number one thing that you said that is not different is the level to compete and want to win championships. Mm-hmm. I think that when you get around these guys at this Division III level, is you got to remember they're doing it for the true love of the game. There's no scholarship, there's no athletic scholarship involved in this, and so and I'm not saying that not everybody in Division I is playing for the love of the game, but I do think that there is a different passion at this level, and you see it every day with these guys and the commitment because they're putting in the same amount of time. So the time and the energy that it goes into the training and the off season, none of that's different, but there's an obvious talent level difference.
All right, so the first 2 games of the season, and next week when you're on with us and hopefully in studio, we'll recap those games and look ahead to the games that'll be coming up that week. But what can you tell us as far as your preps for Belhaven and Colorado College? Have you been able to do much scouting on your 2 opponents to start the season?
Well, we've done it. We played Belhaven and Colorado College last year. Belhaven, last year was Josh's first year as a head coach. He's done an incredible job. Really, really talented coach and really good recruiter. Belhaven's got really talented team, very athletic. They're gonna be similar to what we saw in exhibitions. They're gonna get up in our face. They're gonna pressure us. So we got to be able to handle that pressure. We did not do that very well in exhibition games. So we got to take care of the basketball. The number one thing is value the ball going into tomorrow night. If we can, our goal is 12 or less turnovers and 15-plus assists a game. And both exhibitions, we got close to our assist total, but we just turned the ball over way too much. So we got to value the basketball going into these next 2 games. Colorado College, same way. We played them here. They had 2 guys that were sitting out that didn't play against us last year that could be contending for first team all conference in their league. So both teams very talented. We got our work cut out for us. There's no doubt about it. But I stand by these guys and I believe in our guys. I think we're going to go into both on the road here to start the season and give both teams a game and see where we can come out and hopefully talk about some wins next Tuesday.
Well, we are excited to talk with you each and every week about Rhodes basketball. We certainly, again, appreciate Rich Duncan and what he brought to the table talking Rhodes football. It's been a pleasure to have this Rhodes segment each and every week. He is the head coach of the Rhodes men's basketball team. He is Stephen Zoe Goodson. You can follow him on Twitter at Zoe Goodson. Best of luck, safe travels. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Zoe.
It's a tough start this evening. I can't imagine. I guess they fly commercially out to Colorado. It's a rough little way to start the year.
That is a beautiful part of the country, but yeah, if it was charter, it's a different story. But I don't believe they're chartering in Division III. Just got a feeling that they're not.
If they are, he's pulling some great strings over there.
Maybe when Biff Poggi coached that high school team, maybe they traveled around the country on Lear jets. I don't know.
Air Poggi.
Air Poggi.
Air Poggi. I don't know. I don't think there's Air Goodson. I think
no.
Air Poggi is a lot different.
Not yet.
As far as that is concerned. Folks, if you haven't experienced Genesis Diamonds yet, this weekend is going to be an unbelievable opportunity for you. Genesis Diamonds, they came to Memphis with everyday prices that were already better than everybody's. Now they have guaranteed lowest prices. Now this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they are marking everything down even more. You could save 20, 30, even 35% on some items. We're talking about engagement rings. We're talking about other rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, everything you can imagine. Extreme value, unbelievable value at Genesis Diamonds for this 3-day event coming up this weekend. So, early holiday shopping. Maybe you've got a special anniversary, a special occasion, birthday, something like that. You want to get some jewelry. Maybe you're just thinking about popping the question before the holidays. This is an unbelievable opportunity to save money and get some great jewelry at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. That's at Poplar and Perkins Extended. They will do whatever it takes to make sure you are happy and you find the jewelry that you want and give you an amazing price on it. Everything, every price range imaginable. They do have special financing also available for this event. They're going to have special designers coming in for this as well. Huge event coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Genesis Diamonds.
When we come back, we're talking SEC and some national college football with Blake Tommeier. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
At Sissy's Log Cabin, you'll find only spectacular natural diamonds that will remain treasured for generations. That promise is now symbolized by the engraved Sissy signature and sapphire, representing our guarantee of extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience the Sissy's promise for yourself. Find a jeweler for a lifetime, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Get big savings and big rewards now during Provember at Lowe's. Right now, save $80 on a DeWalt 20-volt 2-tool combo kit and earn 3 times the bonus points. Redeem those points for offers like NFL tickets to regular season games, a Super Bowl 58 experience for 2, and more rewards. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
Here at Memphis Barbecue Supply, we have everything you need for your Thanksgiving feast. If you're smoking, deep frying, or putting that turkey in the oven, we got over 20 different turkey injections and brines to keep your meat juicy and moist, with brine bags and buckets, and 308 different rubs and sauces to choose from. If you're in need of fuel, Memphis Barbecue Supply carries 9 different types of wood chip, chunk, mini logs, and logs of wood, and over 4 tons of wood pellets in stock. And don't worry, we also carry thermometers, injectors, and all other sorts of gadgets that you might need to simplify your cook. And for any questions that you might have, our knowledgeable staff is always eager to help. Memphis Barbecue Supply is located at 7041 Stage Road in Memphis, or you can order online at mbbqsupply.com. Follow us on all the social media platforms for recipes, new products, and barbecue news.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute.
Pretend I don't live
Tonight,
in
the college football
sunshine, go
playoff
by.
rankings will be revealed for the second week. It will be interesting to see if there's any movement. Going to ask Blake about that in a second. And, of course, this weekend, some huge games around the country and some big ones once again in the SEC. We get a chance every other week to talk college football with our buddy Blake Topmeyer, SEC columnist for the USA Today Network. You can follow him on Twitter at @BTopmeyer. Blake joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Blake.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great. So do you expect any movement at the top tonight when we see the reveal?
I don't expect much at the top. No. I mean, I guess you could say, well, Ohio State struggled with Rutgers, but, like, you know, Ohio State won in a way that was very similar to the way they've been winning the rest of the season.
Right.
So I think, you know, that was pretty par for the course for them. Plus, Rutgers is, you know, they're a 6-win team. They were 6-2. So I don't think that'll change. I don't see why they would jockey around Georgia, Michigan, Florida State at all. So no, I think things will remain consistent, except obviously, you know, within the top 10, Oklahoma will be removed, and so Ole Miss slides up one spot. But I don't know. I kind of think 1 through 8, everything probably stays the same this week.
The speaking of Oklahoma, by the way, what has happened to them suddenly?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of wonder if they were always maybe a little more of a flawed team than we realized, and they got up for the Texas game. Like that game means a lot to both sides, but you know, much like Bedlam, you know, it means a lot for both sides. But I sometimes think it means more to Oklahoma State because, you know, it's their chance to prove to the big dog, to Oklahoma, that they can ball too. Like I think with Red River, like that's Oklahoma has such a chip on its shoulder usually for that game because you know, Texas is Texas, and Oklahoma, they really shouldn't be, but I think sometimes they feel like they're in Texas's shadow, even though they've been the better program for like the last 20 years. But you know, nonetheless, I you know, just from the outside looking in, I feel like sometimes that game is bigger for OU than it is for Texas. So I don't know. I think that was maybe a game that got their best, and we saw them on their absolute best day, and that's what they look like then. And you know, otherwise, that they're a good team, but not a great team.
So last week, Georgia takes on Missouri. Mizzou gives them a good run, but in the end, Georgia does what they do best, and that's win football games. And now, Ole Miss will try to step up to the mountaintop and see if they can knock off the Georgia Bulldogs, who will be a 10.5-point favorite playing at home against Ole Miss. How much of a chance do you give the Rebels?
I guess not a great one, just because I don't see Georgia losing at home. If this game was in Oxford, if this game was on a neutral site, you know, I'd give Ole Miss a decent shot of making this thing interesting. I just, you know, they might keep it within 10 points, 2 touchdowns, maybe even a score, but I don't know, guys. I think if someone's going to take down Georgia, it's going to come away from Sanford Stadium. I mean, they're hard enough to beat as it is, and I just don't see it happening in front of their home crowd. And that's what makes it tough, because these last 3 weeks, or this 3-week stretch here, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee, I think maybe Tennessee's the weakest team out of the 3, although I don't think there's a ton of separation between these 3 teams. But I guess if I had to put them in a pecking order, Tennessee would probably be third of the 3, but they're the ones that get Georgia at home. So I had said coming into this 3-game stretch that I thought Tennessee was the biggest threat to Georgia, just because of where the location of where the games are. I mean, Neyland Stadium, it'll be a zoo that day whenever Georgia steps in, and Georgia hasn't faced many tough road environments this year. They did on the Plains in Auburn, and that was the toughest game they've had. It was a 1-possession win, and I could see the Tennessee game being close too. So I think Ole Miss is a good team. I don't know that Ole Miss is a great team. I think they're a good team, and the SEC is having a down year, so I think they stand out even more from the mix. I think they're a New Year's Six caliber team, but I don't think they're the team that's going to beat Georgia.
Projecting ahead here, with the fact that Jalen Milroe has played better and he continues to run the ball really well, right now, how much of a chance would you give Alabama in a championship game matchup against Georgia?
Yeah, I'd say championship game matchup against Georgia, I'd pick Alabama like 4 out of 10 times.
4 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah, 4 out of 10. I think Alabama's defense is pretty good. They've been playing really well in the second half, in particular. And as you mentioned, Milroe, it's like night and day. He's not the same quarterback we saw in that Week 2 loss to Texas, and I credit him a lot for that. But I also think Tommy Rees is calling things differently than he was the first few weeks of the season, and I don't really know why Tommy Rees wasn't calling things like this all along. I don't know why it took a loss to Texas for him to figure it out, but to his credit, I do think Alabama has shifted its game plans quite a bit. They give Milroe more opportunities for deep shots. They incorporate his legs a lot more than they were at the beginning of the season. And I think, too, though, Milroe has warmed up to the idea of running more. I mean, for a while, he was so determined to prove that he wasn't a running quarterback that it worked to his detriment. I don't care whether we call him a running quarterback or not, call him a dual threat, call him whatever, but, that guy has to use his legs to be the quarterback he could be, and we saw that Saturday against LSU. It was his best game of his career, and part of that was because he was willing to take off and run when LSU dropped 8 defenders into coverage, and there was nobody open. So, I think Georgia's still the more talented team, at skill positions in particular. I think that's where Georgia really shines as comparison to Alabama. I mean, even without Brock Bowers, I don't know if he would play in that game or not. I don't know what the timeline is exactly for his recovery. That's kind of murky. But even if he's not available for the SEC championship, I still like Georgia's skill guys better. I think both teams are pretty good on defense. I would compare them pretty equally there. Mm-hmm. I think the quarterbacks, I might still give a little bit of an edge to Carson Beck, but I wonder how much of that is just because, again, I like Georgia's skill guys better. In Alabama's offensive line, it's not, I would say, advantage Georgia there, but Alabama's offensive line is improving. So I guess in some, advantage Georgia on skill positions, advantage Georgia on the offensive line. Otherwise, I think Alabama would stack up pretty well.
I would imagine you don't believe there will be any type of letdown by Bama at Kentucky this weekend?
No. This is one of those games billed as a trap game. We in the media like to talk about these trap games a lot. Alabama's not usually a team that loses trap games. I mean, I can't think. I'm probably overlooking something. Maybe at Texas A&M in 2021. I guess Texas A&M was 3-2 when they beat Alabama that year. So I guess that was a time we could say Alabama fell in a quote unquote trap game. But over the course of Nick Saban's tenure, I can't think of any times where they lost to these trap game scenarios. And Kentucky, it has established itself the last few weeks, I think, as a solid middle of the pack team in the SEC. But as we look at the tiers of this conference, they're not on the top tier. They're not in that number 2 tier where I consider Alabama, and to some degree I would put Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee on that second tier. Alabama's a little ahead of those teams, but I think they're kind of on that tier. And then Kentucky's, they're more in that middle of the pack mix. They've separated themselves from the bottom 6 teams that are pretty woefully bad. I mean, the SEC's got some bad teams this year. The folks in Birmingham wouldn't want to admit that. They'd cringe at someone saying it, but let's face it, there's a half dozen teams in the conference this year that they're pretty bad. I mean, and that's why more than anything, I think the SEC's down this year, and I do think they're down. But I don't know that they're weaker at the top necessarily. I think, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, those are top-end type teams that we would normally expect in the SEC in a given year. It's just, a lot of times those 8 through 14 teams are also really, really good and could beat you on any given day. I don't see that so much in the conference this year. The SEC is going to struggle to qualify as many teams for bowl games as it normally does, and I think the SEC's narrative would be, that's because there's great parity in the conference. I don't know. There's great parity in those bottom 6 teams, but I don't think throughout the conference there's great parity.
Along that line, did Florida cost themselves a bowl game with that loss to Arkansas?
I think they did. Yeah, I mean, they're still sitting at 5-4, but when we look at the weeks ahead, they're on the road at LSU this week, then they're on the road at Missouri, and then they finish with Florida State. I think they're going 5-7, and I think they're going to look back and realize that Arkansas was their one they had to win to get to bowl eligibility, and they blew it. It's not going to cost Billy Napier his job this year. I really don't think so. He's protected by a pretty hefty buyout that I don't think Florida wants to pay in this moment. I don't think they're really ready to move on from Billy Napier. I don't know that they should be. But I think the biggest thing helping Napier is he's got that number 3 in the nation recruiting class. And so that doesn't save you forever when you're a struggling coach. But I think when you're a coach in year 2 and you got the number 3 recruiting class on the hook, I think that gets you to year 3. But frustrations are going to be pretty high, I think, in Florida surrounding Napier. He's going to get to 2024, but I think he's going to enter 2024 facing a really, really important season, and he'll almost be on the hot seat, before next season even kicks off, I think.
I'm not sure if you have a composite SEC schedule in front of you, but along those lines, talking about Florida, it's going to be tough to become bowl eligible. We were talking about this on the program yesterday. How many teams of these 5 do you think will become bowl eligible, if any? Obviously, Vanderbilt's out, so Vanderbilt's done. Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and who am I missing, Eli? South Carolina. Yeah. How many of those, because we were trying to figure out how many teams are eligible for bowls from the SEC and where the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game is in the pecking order. Will they have to look outside the SEC? That kind of stuff. What's your projection? What's your crystal ball say about those 4? Obviously, Vandy's not going to make it. Those other 4 making it to become a bowl eligible team.
Yeah, I think those 4. It's 0 for 4. I don't think any of them make a bowl because I mean let's think through. Arkansas would have to run the table, right? And I think they got 3 wins, so they have to run the table. They might beat Auburn at home this week. They're a favorite. They might get that one, and then they got Florida International, so they might get to 5. But then they finish with Missouri, and Missouri's. They've had a better run of the tape in that rivalry anyway, and I think, Missouri's, they're in that tier above Arkansas, undoubtedly. So I think Arkansas's ceiling might be about 5-7.
Okay.
So they're not getting there. We've talked about Florida. I think they're going to lose the next 3. They're going to be the underdogs in all 3. They're going to be probably at least a 10-point. They're a 14-point underdog this week, or it might have dropped to 13. They're going to be at least a 10-point underdog at Missouri, I think, and they'll be a 10-point plus underdog against Florida State. I don't think they're going to win any of those 3. And so they're out. Who else would we say? South Carolina.
South Carolina.
South Carolina's still got Clemson on the books. What's South Carolina's record? How many would they have to win?
South Carolina have to sweep. They're 3-6.
Yeah, and I know Clemson. They're not having a moment right now. They beat Notre Dame, sure, but they're sitting at 5-4.
But they're still there. I mean, they showed something. They showed Tyler something at least, beating Notre Dame.
They showed Tyler from Spartanburg something, and that's to the extent that it matters. That's a revenge game for Clemson after they lost to South Carolina last year. So no, I don't think South Carolina is getting there. Who else?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. No, I don't think they're getting there either. They got Southern Miss, so that might get them to 5 wins. but they finished with Ole Miss. They're not. It's at Starkville. It's the Egg Bowl. Who knows? Wacky things happen in the Egg Bowl, but I would put Ole Miss at like number 3 in this conference. I'd put Mississippi State somewhere at 12 or 13. So they're not winning that one. Who do they got this week?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M on the road. I mean, I know we like to pick on A&M. I like to do as much as anybody, but I don't see Mississippi State going on the road and beating A&M. So they're out. So I crossed out all of them, and then there's Auburn, and they still have work to do to get to bowl eligibility. If they lose to Arkansas this week, they're sitting at 5-5. Now Auburn has New Mexico State
at
home next week. I think that's a win. Now New Mexico State, they got 7 wins.
Yeah, Jerry Kill's done a good job, but I would think
they're not bad. But you would still think that's on the plane. Auburn's playing down and level there. I wouldn't say with 100% certainty because New Mexico State is a decent team, but I think Auburn gets that one and probably gets the 6. So, it's pretty bleak when we look at those bottom teams trying to get a bowl eligibility, I think.
After being in Starkville last weekend and watching that Mississippi State team against Kentucky, if they score a point at Texas A&M, they'll be lucky.
Yeah, right. And I don't think this is fair, guys, but I mean, college football, what's fair, right?
Right. But no Rodgers, they're out without a lot of guys.
Yeah, but I think Zach Arnett could be facing some trouble down there. I would not
really.
I would almost never advocate for making a change after 1 year. But when you look at the situation there, he was promoted after Mike Leach's death, which that was the right thing to do. He brought stability at a difficult time for the program. But Zach Selman, who's the AD, he was hired after Zach Arnett, so that's not his guy. So that's number 1. Number 2, Zach Arnett's buyout, if he were fired, I believe would be $4.5 million, and there's a duty to offset the damages in his contract. Well, we know he was a great defensive coordinator. Somebody would hire him. He would offset almost every cent of that buyout. That's number 2. Number 3, his recruiting class is losing momentum. It ranks last in the SEC right now. They just had decommitment this week, so he can't hang his hat on recruiting. And there's no real on-field momentum either. Now, Will Rogers' injury makes that even tougher, but even before Will Rogers got hurt, there was some regression within that program. So again, I'm not sitting here pounding the drum for it because I don't think it's, in a perfect world, it's not right to see a guy not get at least 2 years in a program. But if there was ever a time to make a change on someone after 1 year, all those things I just mentioned, I think the deck's going to be stacked against Zach Arnett. And I think, fairly or not, I think in a lot of ways he's still been kind of viewed as a seat warmer, as an interim coach who dropped the interim title. He's got the real title now. But the way that they structured that contract, it's almost like they made him the interim coach without the title.
It feels very much, and it almost like nationally, it feels like people think that he is literally an interim coach, and doesn't actually that is actually part of his title. It does have a very much interim feel to it.
Yeah, I understand where Blake's coming from. Real quick answer, Blake: Mizzou or Tennessee?
I like Missouri. Just a coin flip game to me, and Missouri at home. I would take them. If we're just thinking about those programs, knee-jerk reaction, you might say Tennessee, but before the last couple of years where Tennessee's just skunked them, Missouri's landed some punches on Tennessee over the years. I think they got a good team. I didn't change my mind just because they lost to Georgia by a couple scores.
Right.
I don't know. It really is, I think, a coin flip game. I could see it going the other way 5 times out of 10. But in games such as these, I guess I sort of lean toward the home team that are so tight the spread, and I think there's not much separating the teams. So if it was at Tennessee, I'd pick Tennessee, but at Columbia, I'll pick Mizzou.
He is Blake Topmeyer, SEC columnist for USA Today Network. You can follow him on Twitter at @BTopmeyer, and every other week he joins us on Tuesday to talk some college football. Blake, thank you so much. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Real quick, if 5 teams don't make it from the SEC, they currently have 14, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's 9. How many of them would be in New Year's 6 games? Well, you got to figure one's going to be in the playoff. Then probably at least 2, right? Georgia's in the playoff. Alabama's going to New Year's 6. Ole Miss, more than likely, is going to a New Year's 6. Maybe even a 3rd. Then you're down from 9 to... man, I'll tell you, it's tight. You're getting down to the nitty-gritty there for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Yep.
But they've been in this situation before, and usually they get the team from the SEC. Not always, but usually they do. Folks, you want the hot wings, you can get the hot wings at the Crazy Coop, the best hot wings in the Memphis area with 2 convenient locations. The original at 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. It's Bartlett, almost where Bartlett meets Memphis, and the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Delicious whole wings, party wings, boneless wings, big juicy chicken tenders, and what makes them the best is their 27 different flavors and seasoning. You can go with the hot, like the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or the Crazy Suicide. Maybe not so hot like the 4 cheese roasted garlic or the barbecue bacon bourbon. But that's what makes the hot wings. What makes them? The flavoring, the seasonings, and that's what they have for you at the Crazy Coop. You can even buy those seasonings. So when you make chicken wings at your home, you can go ahead and add those Crazy Coop seasonings to them. Now, if you head over to the Bartlett location, they got the full menu. You can pick yourself up a delicious catfish sandwich, juicy half-pound burger, all the great sides like the fried okra, the green tomatoes, the fried dill pickles. They will cater any event you got coming up. So if there's something in the future, make sure you contact the Crazy Coop about their catering services. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. They have lunch specials. They have crazy packs. You can have DoorDash or any of the other services delivered to your home or office. Just order online or just go pick it up yourself. Again, they can cater your event. Find them on Instagram and Facebook. It is the Crazy Coop for the best chicken wings in town. 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten, and the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. We're coming back with our final segment. Put a wrap on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at Drive Max. Drive Max. Drive Max. You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? Drive Max has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
Drive Max, I got approved.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35% this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamond. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
It's time for the holidays.
Bah, humbug.
What, you're not all excited for the turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce?
The cooking, the cleaning, the relatives.
Well, you got people coming in from out of town?
Hi, so many people.
It'll be fun.
All I want to do is go to Central Barbecue.
That's all you ever want to do.
Alone.
Come on, it's the holidays.
Just sitting there in a booth all by myself, enjoying Central Barbecue, no family, being all festive.
Well, you enjoy your own private Central Barbecue holiday.
That is all I ask.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This sounds brought to you by Acura Memphis on Ridgeway, right there at 385 online, AcuraofMemphis.com. Great cars, great people. That's what it's about at Acura Memphis. You know the Acura name, the quality of those automobiles. Well, go check them out. Take a test drive, whether it's a new vehicle, whether you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, certified pre-owned Acuras. You'll find it all at Acura of Memphis on Ridgeway at 385 and online at AcuraofMemphis.com. ESPN did their annual ranking of the 25 best players under the age of 25. Number one on the list for the fourth straight year, his last year of eligibility, Luka Doncic. No surprise.
Still amazing he's 24 years of age.
Number two, Anthony Edwards. Number three, Victor Wembanyama. Comes in at number 3 immediately.
Okay.
Number 4, Tyrese Halliburton. Number 5, Ja Morant. Ja was number 3 last year, bumped down to 5 this year with his suspension.
Well, and Wembanyama joins the league, so he jumps ahead of him.
Jaren comes in at number 10 in his last year of eligibility. Is this Ja's last year? Yeah, Ja's last year of eligibility. Both those guys. This will be their last year of eligibility for both of those guys.
How old's Bane?
Bane has turned 25. I think Bane is 25.
Okay.
Right now.
Who's ahead of Jaren?
You've got, after Ja, at number 6, Cade Cunningham. Number 7, Zion. Number 8, Darius Garland. Number 9, LaMelo Ball.
I don't know about a couple of those. Darius Garland ahead of Jaren Jackson Jr.? He's really good. Don't get me wrong, but... And then who's right after Jack? You said top 25? Who's right after Jackson?
Tyrese Maxey.
He's coming on.
Evan Mobley. Chet Holmgren.
Jury's still out.
He's been really good this year.
He's been really good this year, but
he gonna be moving up in this list, that's for sure. Paulo Banchero's at 14, Scotty Barnes 15.
League's in good shape.
Jalen Williams.
League's in good shape as you ride off these
Giddey,
names.
Jalen Green,
Jeez.
Walker Kessler, Jalen Duren at number 21.
Nice. So what team has the most?
The Thunder.
Then you got Tyler Hero, Scoot Henderson, Keegan Murray, and Alperen Şengün.
Yeah, I don't know about Scoot yet. I mean, he got hurt in his first few games in the NBA. So what is it? What Oklahoma City was 3?
Chet, Jalen Williams,
and
Josh Giddey.
Shai Gilgeous is not under 25, right?
No.
So three guys.
They got 3 guys.
And Shai, it's not like Shai's old. Man,
No.
Oklahoma City, that future.
You got the Grizzlies with 2. You got Cleveland with 2. You got Detroit with 2.
Has Detroit been disappointing to you to start this season? Didn't you think Detroit was going to improve somewhat?
No, not really.
Orlando's got
I, mean,
2.
I expect them to improve, but I mean they're a young team. They're still trying to figure out their pecking order. So.
Yeah, they're still way too young.
Yeah,
and trying to put it.
The Grizzlies were young and were able to.
They're like Orlando was last year. There's like a lot of good pieces, but you got to try and sort through it all and figure it out.
I love their pieces, though.
Oh,
I love Detroit's. Ivy doesn't even start. It's the backup point guard. I like Detroit's pieces more than most of those teams. Although I do like Oklahoma City. Obviously, the Grizzlies, but it's kind of all messed up now with what's happening this year. But they're still young. They're still young pieces. They're still very good. But Oklahoma City, Sacramento's got young pieces. But Detroit, I'm waiting for them to take that step. Maybe next year, because it's not going to be. It doesn't appear to be this year.
Yeah, they got to figure out who's going to be on this team for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, so. I agree.
Tyrese Halliburton's averaging 24 and 12.
Where was he drafted? What number?
I think 12.
Yeah, I think he was outside the top 10, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Was he
he's
that
outside
low?
the top 10.
I was thinking he was. I don't know. I can't remember.
I loved that guy. Now, I didn't. He's better than what I thought he was going to be. But I loved. He was Iowa State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved him. But I didn't think he was going to be this good. He's like
Yeah, spot on.
12.
12.
Good job.
2020.
He reminds me of Lillard, but he doesn't. Now, is he shooting threes, Halliburton? He's not shooting threes like Lillard could shoot the threes, but he reminds me of a young Dame Lillard.
He could take them.
Man, he's good. Hey, this is
40% from three. I don't know how many attempts.
40%. You'll take that.
But yeah. So who knows where Ja would have been without the suspension? But he comes in at number 5.
Probably 4.
James Madison, fresh off their big basketball win.
Hail the Dukes.
They have officially petitioned the NCAA once again to allow them to play in a bowl game.
Let the kids play.
They, by the way, they just lost that defensive stud who is unbelievable. He's out for the rest of the year, which hurts them. I don't know how much of it, but that dude is an absolute beast on defense, and he's out for the rest of the year. But they had originally in April petitioned the NCAA. They were denied at that point. Now they have sent another letter officially petitioning again for the NCAA to do away with this rule or lessen it. I think this would actually ask them to do it to 1 year and allow them to play in a bowl game. Soon we know what the NCAA is going to say, but because God forbid James Madison play in a bowl game, we'd rather have the cheaters at Michigan in bowl games trying to win a national championship.
Preach, brother.
We can't punish the kids at Michigan. We'd much rather punish the kids here who have done literally nothing other than transition from FCS to FBS.
I'll leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. David Pollack, who's no longer, of course, on ESPN. I thought he did a good job. He tweeted out Holiday Committee playoff rankings in honor of tonight's second week of the college football playoff rankings. His Holiday Committee playoff rankings: number 1, Christmas; number 2, Easter; number 3, 4th of July; number 4, Thanksgiving; first 2 out; number 5, Memorial Day; number 6, New Year's Eve.
Horrendous ranking.
Who would you put as number 1 Holiday Committee playoff rankings?
Thanksgiving is the best holiday.
Thanksgiving. I agree 100%. I cannot believe we agree.
It's not even close.
Zach, who do you got?
Who is it again?
Holiday Committee playoff ranking. Who's number 1 for you?
What holiday?
What's your favorite holiday? Number 1 in the rankings. So you go Christmas. So you agree with David Pollack.
You're having such a good day today, too.
Yeah, I know.
You had nailed everything. And then you went
on
and
a
screwed this
sour
up.
note, man. It's Thanksgiving.
What's wrong with Christmas?
Thanksgiving is the answer, man. Thanksgiving is the answer.
Christmas, you got to buy gifts for people.
Yes. You just eat. You become a glutton at Thanksgiving. And you love turkey, don't
Thanksgiving
you?
is built on 2 things.
He loves turkey.
Food and football.
We got to get the heck on out of here. We want to thank Brooks Monaghan, Zoe Goodson, and Blake Topmeyer for joining us on the program. Tomorrow, Jerry Palm from CBS Sports, DeMichael Cole on the Grizzlies. We'll take a look at what happens tonight with those college football playoff rankings. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli and Zach, I'm Greg. Have a great day, everybody.